Hi, folks. This is Applegeek, and welcome to the second episode or installment or whatever of the Unstable Reactors. Still not quite sure what to actually call this, but that seems like as good a thing as any. So again, we have, in no particular order, Do You Want to Build a Universe, Capron, Let's Watch Ponies, Johnny Fireflame, and obviously myself, Applegeek. So today we are talking about My Little Pony, the movie 2017. Not to be confused with My Little Pony, the movie from 1986. Big difference between the two.
Big
difference.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, we've all seen the movie. Initial impressions, anyone? Take it away.
It's good.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's
a good movie.
Pretty great. Aside from aside from a few, just the pacing. Aside from the pacing, some of the pacing, I thought it was great. Especially that one scene with Twilight and Pinkie Pie, which I'm pretty sure we'll have plenty to discuss about that.
We'll get to that a little bit.
But I'm going way too.
I would definitely say it's a very good movie. To me, it felt a bit rushed, just kind of got pushed through all the new characters and stuff rather quickly, didn't have a lot of time for development. But from a truly critical perspective, yes, there was that, but after watching it several times and really thinking it over, it really doesn't bother me too much because the story that we did get was just so incredible. So it's in my opinion a minor flaw overall.
And then now, of course, I think we should preface this all by saying I don't think any of us are completely neutral in our reaction and feelings on the movie. I mean, just the idea going in, the concept that I'm watching the movie that I didn't even know I've been anticipating for 5 years. I guess I've been anticipating it for 1 year after the point where I knew that there was going to be a movie. But for like the first 20 minutes or so, I actually had like a little tear sort of in my eye, just getting emotional and just feeling the idea that this is actually happening for the first 20 minutes. So I was deep into it for that. I don't know if any of you had similar feelings.
Yep, that's I kind of got a little misty at the beginning and the end. Definitely, because I was like, wow, that was amazing. Yeah,
I was just kind of in. Well, there was one point when I got misty, and that's later on. But the initial few minutes of it for me were I was just like, kid in the candy store, just sit his kid in absolute awe of like, this is actually happening and it's epic.
I spent like the first 20 minutes or something just repeating myself over and over, saying this animation. Yes.
For me though, it was looking to see all the characters and even the background characters that we've spent all these years watching and following. Oh my God, there's Lyra in a movie. Oh my God, there's Cheese Sandwich in a movie. Oh my God, there's XYZ in a movie, just over and over again.
And Star Trixie too.
But here's the funny thing about that is that this is only in that opening scene, but first of all, Spike got the very first line of the movie, which I thought was awesome. But the second line of dialogue in the movie came from Rainbow Stars, like a way background pony. Like I never would have expected a pony that far in the background to actually have a speaking line in the movie. That was really unique, I thought.
As Ro knows, they know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, after episodes like Fame and Misfortune, like I think that kind of expositionary dialogue was acceptable, and of course, Twilight was totally ready for that big celebration, as we are all aware.
Of course, we all remember how she handles stressful situations.
Oh yes,
no sweat.
She did not blow something out of proportions or try to go too. Come on, one time.
They had me for a second though when she was doing the Zen meditation thing behind the window. For 1 second, I thought she was actually keeping herself calm and normal and level. But then, of course, the shield shattered, and we got to see psychotic, crazy, terrified Twilight.
That face. I've said before.
Very specific things for this very specific moment at this specific time with these specific credentials, specifically this way, please.
Yeah,
I want everything to be perfect.
That face was a little too psychotic for me. But then again, the show in general, especially, you know, the latter, some of these seasons, we've gotten some of the most insane faces from these characters I've ever seen. And
Yesterday's episode pretty much proves that.
But
we can't talk about that.
listen.
We can't talk about that yet, but
Nope.
still, I agree with you, John. I completely agree with you.
Continues. The
Yes.
trend continues.
It will never end.
Guys,
As long as there is an endless supply of Red Bull and Twinkies for the animators to enjoy, we will continue to get. There you go. We will continue to get those type of faces, guaranteed.
All right.
These reactions brought to you by Red Bull.
I mean, seriously, they should be, you know, sponsored.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
Oh God,
And Coke.
Red Bull and Coke in the same thing. What are we doing?
And I got Pepsi.
Diabetes.
And I'm enjoying this very lovely chai tea, and
Okay.
which I didn't.
Yeah, stirred by no particular object.
Exactly. I
Spoon.
didn't, yeah. I didn't stir this with a screwdriver at all because I was too lazy to get a spoon. Yeah, definitely not.
I like Yu-Gi-Oh! Very good card game.
Well, that was random.
Yep.
This is what it's gonna be.
Okay, back to the movie.
Yeah.
Off that.
So
Are we starting from like from beginning to end, or are we just jumping to random sections? What's up?
It's good.
I
This is gonna be fun.
I was hoping to maybe
Like,
kind of step through it somewhat in order. I mean, we don't have to dwell a whole lot, but
We could just do like the movie, go from place to place without really spending that much time developing, but still enough to be an enjoyable experience.
perfect.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right,
Okay.
all right. So, how about that little presentation of Twilight's? That was interesting with the whiteboard.
I was very
yeah,
impressed
yeah,
that she was able to write with her head turned away from the whiteboard. That was quite impressive.
Yes.
I'm probably gonna bring that up in my damn review because initially I think, you know, Applegate and I and maybe some other people thought that it may be sort of like an eclipse that's going to happen that may weaken like the princess's powers or something like that. It didn't turn out to be that way at all.
No, it turned into a celestial spotlight for the concert is what she wanted.
Hey,
Basically.
can you move the sun and moon for me so it can make my party look slightly better?
Yeah,
that's-
that is a tall order.
Can you just adjust the time of day just enough for me to have a wonderful time? Thank you very much.
The animals are not going to be happy with you. They're not. They're going to be very angry.
And-
You've completely ruined their sleep
That's gonna
schedule.
be like, is it night or day? We don't know.
Yeah. But by the way, correct me if I'm wrong, but is it Twilight or is it somebody else I'm thinking of that we've seen? I could have sworn we've seen Twilight at some point in the past try to like make pictures and diagrams of things, and it looked like a very young child drew it or something.
I do remember that there was a moment I know for a fact that she did something and it just
So like from that to this whiteboard, like okay, her art skills have definitely improved.
Like testing.
movie though.
Was it that episode? The Rainbow
Yeah,
Dash
and
one?
not really important, but anyway, regardless, it was impressive.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it was great.
but yeah, she got shot down from that, obviously. So then we got the scene where basically sort of like the introduction to all the rest of the main six. You know, it's got a brief little blurb that, you know, we got the names and got a little bit of insight into each one's personality and stuff. You know, I thought that was a nice little step for, you know, anyone who's not familiar with the show to just kind of get a brief overview of like, here's the characters and here's what they're like, kind of.
And
So
It's character introduction time.
Yeah, the best character introduction, at least for some kids that were in the audience, that was in the movie theater. By the way, my movie theater was basically 65% actual our age brony guys, along with the actual kids in their family. So
Nice.
which was cool. But some kids I was sitting next to, they just had this face of smart is this pony when she was doing a diagram of the board thing, just like they didn't understand anything that was going on. I was like, wow, this is your character for the next hour and a half.
I was kind of.
Can I just say? I want to say something like quick at this start. I was kind of fearing that they would make this movie like more of a Twilight story than a main six story, which I understand why they did it, but I kind of hoped it would be like a group story, if you understand.
Yeah, I would argue that it was, you know, because they were significantly involved.
I think what he's trying to say is he wanted the movie to have a lesson for all of them to learn as a collective group, and not just Twilight to learn and then.
Yeah, I'm saying, I wanted more of the ponies to have more of a role in the movie. That's just what I'm saying. Okay?
Yes, I agree with you there, because basically everybody except my personal two favorites, Applejack and Fluttershy. Those two really didn't get any significant part of the story. It seems like
Fluttershy, yeah.
So
it's somewhat to be expected.
It's like,
yeah, I would say though, I understand what you're saying. I still feel like there is sort of some lesson stuff like that though, because Twilight did have a point. I know I'm kind of jumping ahead, but Twilight did kind of have a point that they're not an Equestria. They can't just do all the show off stuff and draw attention to themselves and whatever like they normally do. So that they weren't exactly like the sonic green boom and things like that did contribute to the problems they were having. So there is a little bit of a lesson on that side as well, but it wasn't really driven home as like this is the lesson that you learned. It's just it was primarily focused on Twilight. So
all right, so I just wanted to bring that up. Back to the movie itself.
I do just have to say regarding the character introductions, my absolute favorite part was the whole Applejack and Rainbow Dash raised in a barn. I lost it at
that whole scene. Like,
my favorite was my favorite though was Pinkie Pie creating the Discord balloon.
Oh, that was unexpected. I was
That's all we saw of him.
I was waiting for him to cameo in somehow, but apparently it was that and the end credits.
Yeah, he was in the end credits. I totally missed that on first watch that he was in the end credits. So I'm kicking myself for that. But yeah,
who's in the end credits?
Discord.
No, right, just as Balloon or something.
No, he actually showed up in person in the end credits.
Oh, yeah, I saw him there. Yeah.
During then he was standing right next to Celestia in the background and some of those dance scenes. So yeah.
I was actually I know someone did make a joke right next to this, if Discord was here, he would have handled the problem 6 seconds from now.
Yeah.
It's just
my theory is he was off at his dimension hanging out with the Smooze or something, so
it's just whenever it comes to Discord, you can always come up with an excuse and it will make sense.
Because he's the creature of chaos.
Automatically doesn't make any sense. But when you have an omnipotent being who can basically do anything, that will kill a movie, because it's you can't have him in the movie. I knew that he wasn't going to be in the movie pretty much, but if he was, it would have just created so many plot holes because he can basically do anything. So
now
just be like snap, my little pony.
Now of course we do have to consider the possibility what would have happened when Discord showed up for his next tea session with Fluttershy, and turns out she was captured by the Storm King.
Oh,
you know how angry he got just hearing that she was captured. I mean, it's gonna be like Vegeta seeing Bulma getting slapped. Just that's my Fluttershy.
Where did she?
All right. Exactly. So anyway, character introductions. Twilight gets buried by a cake that needs some work. Introduction of Songbird Serenade, that was cute and whatnot. And then the Fire Nation attacked.
Yeah.
Well, the song, we gotta talk about the opening song, because I really like the song because wait, what?
You got this.
Oh yeah, exactly. We definitely do have that. But yeah,
we got this together.
We've got this together. Yes,
indeed. But yeah, I like the song because people who have absolutely no idea about the show, no idea about these characters, and obviously that opening little bit of dialogue is fine, but then the song sort of solidified it. It's they didn't have to go, this is Rainbow Dash. She is very, very fast. And this is Pinkie Pie. She laughs a lot. Oh, that's lovely. Wonderful. Let's move along to the rest of the plot. But no, they kind of made it, they made it so that other people can understand who these characters are and what their traits are, basically. That's what I like about that.
I remember me saying this in my... Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I remember me saying this in my reaction to the Gen 1 with T-Rex and all that. I said I hate musicals that just have just musicals for some stupid reason that you could have resolved in a scene where, they had this entire song scene of trying to find something, but they could have just had, oh, here it is, here you go. But
Yeah.
in this movie, and like all of MLP, they always use music as a way to further the plot and also further the understanding of a scene in general that you could not do with dialogue. And that's why I like this movie, and that's what that song represents. So
yeah, the songs and the score and stuff in this movie were on point all the way. I mean, yeah.
Ingram definitely had fun. He definitely had fun with his full orchestra.
Yes.
This movie just further proved how much of a god Daniel Ingram is and how much I want to worship him and follow in his footsteps.
Yes, I need his signature. Yes, I want his signature because he made the entire series. Yeah.
I need to beat him. Like, you're on, good sir.
Yeah, I met him at BronyCon this year. He's a really cool guy. He really is. So, all right. So the Tempest attacks and stuff.
The Fire Nation has attacked. Basically.
Yeah, it's like, we just had this awesome musical number all jazzed up, and then boom, chaos and disorder and where. Yeah, it's like just
Tempest looking beast and whatnot. That sort of thing.
Yeah,
guys, about that scene, we have to talk about one thing. Poor Brian.
Oh, poor Brian.
Yes. Let us have a moment of silence for Brian.
Poor Brian. The only two
moment of
deaths
silence.
in this movie. Fine.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
I'm sorry. I really like that joke that they did with it.
It was good.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like a pancake.
One other thing that song accomplished is it gave us a gazillion cameos. So there was that. But
cameos.
Commander Tempest. That was a bit of an awkward introduction at first with Grubber and waiting for him to carry that megaphone thing down and then set it up and then go into his speech. It's just like we're waiting.
Go ahead. No, it's 5 people. We're always going to jump over each other. I was about to say, Emily Blunt, fantastic. All the voice actors and actresses, fantastic voice work. Like, especially Liev Schreiber. I did not hear Liev Schreiber coming out of Storm King whatsoever because I've seen him in that horrible X-Men movie that I hated, but still, I didn't even hear him coming out of that. So, yeah, very, very good.
Yeah.
And
Emily Blunt nailed it for Tempest for sure. Very atypical of the ponies that we're used to seeing for sure. So
I'm the Prince of Friendship. I'm sure there's some way we can solve this peacefully. How about your complete and total surrender? That would be the most peaceful solution.
Great. Just stop fighting. Just let me win. That's it.
Yeah.
She was very aloof over it the whole thing.
And I do have to say,
I love her still in the air. It's great.
I do have to say, I at least appreciate. Yes, once again, the princesses are basically useless. But I give them credit for, hey, at least they showed up and at least they attempted to make a stand, before they got caught completely off guard and encased in crystal and
carbonite.
So,
I want to try to tell my friends that the element of surprise can be incredibly powerful if used correctly.
The 9 elements, the element of surprise.
Yeah.
At least Luna didn't hit the ground when she got turned to crystal, because that would have been bad.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Twilight saved her from that, by the way. So
think about it, though. Think about it. Think about their plans. Their plan was to encase them in crystal if they were being defiant. Now, what would have happened if she encased Luna in crystal, she fell and shattered? Can the magic still be extracted from her shattered remains? That their entire plan would have been something that happened.
That thought did occur to me. Yeah, it was a little sketchy there. I don't know, but
maybe she would have. Maybe the stick would have had. Maybe the stick would have had the ability to control the sun, but not the moon.
I guess. Yeah, it's speculation. But yeah, it makes sense. Just
it looked like it needed all 4 of them though, because they couldn't do it without Twilight there. So it's not just it didn't get. It didn't get less power. It didn't get any power at all without all 4 of them. So
hard to say.
But anyway, so the princesses, and this was actually a thing that a buddy of mine had pointed out to me. When he's looking at the toys for the movie, there was a set of figurines that have the princesses in like that's metallic looking colors, and he got the idea that it's like, oh, I bet something's going to happen to them where they're going to be sealed away or something. And then we got the second trailer that actually showed Celestium like, oh my word, he was right.
Yeah, that definitely got dark rather quickly.
This is what we have learned.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I was going to go back really quickly to that staff object. Now, in the second trailer, we saw Twilight descend from the end of the movie with that staff, and I was like, is this going to be like a MacGuffin, like and a solution that's going to be like, oh, point this at the bad guy and he'll be defeated? But no, it wasn't so much of that. It was a little bit better than that, but still, I was kind of worried about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a Deus Ex Machina to a point, or at least for the point where when they released the magic back, it magically restored the castle and everything. I was actually kind of a little disappointed that they just magically put everything back together again, but sure, I understand why they needed to do that.
And when Twilight descended from the heavens with the staff in hand, the only thing I could think of was from the nostalgia critic, I am Jesus.
Yes.
Oh my lord!
The look on her face on that was just way too like cocky looking or whatever. I'm just like, she's like an angel descending from. It's like, why? Like the ego is already big enough. Like what?
Yeah.
But whatever. I just I know we're jumping ahead on that, but that was just one scene I found really confusing personally. It just he disappeared into the clouds. And Pinky's freaking out, thinking she's lost forever, and then just nothing, and then she comes floating back down. And like, okay, what exactly just happened there? Like, I thought we would have had the clouds part and seen her using the staff to, fix things or something. And it just, I suppose they were trying to just really drag out the thing of, for little kids watching, it's like trying to convince people that she's actually gone, like, dead and gone or something. They just wanted to drag that out, but just the way they brought her back just seemed a little confusing. Like, what did she actually do while she was up there? So,
and they could have gone a lot further with that scene where they basically show her like unconscious on the ground. That would have made it even darker, and they could have that moment where she wakes up, slowly. That would have helped a lot. But still, yeah.
Well, anyway, back into the order here. So, princesses encased in crystal, and just about had the fourth one, and then the incident occurred. A certain Pony saved Twilight Sparkle.
Oh man, that I mean, the second time I watched that, I was like, holy crap, that actually did happen.
Wow.
I saw it on my first watch. It's just like, holy crap. The savior of Equestria came in.
No, it was interesting. I mean, it was actually Rainbow Dash that saved her, because you can hear Rainbow yell out Twilight, and you see that rainbow streak go, flying past at warp speed. So she actually grabbed Twilight out of there, but it's unclear if that was, before or after Derpy actually got hit by the crystal. So I'm not really sure. What was? You okay there, buddy?
We're gonna talk about this. They knew it. They knew I would be watching the movie. They knew it, and they did that especially just to tick me off. You know it.
Well, maybe we should just give you the floor and allow you to vent and explain.
Guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. Picture a movie theater. It's not fully full. It is not fully full, but it is full enough for an embarrassing thing. You see Derpy crystallized, and then you just see this one random person jump out of his chair and literally just lean on someone else's chair. Don't be that guy. If I was probably topped the other one that thou shall not be named, because I embarrassed myself in front of live people.
Oh man,
But it's Derpy. So I can understand.
I fully understand it, because I was when I saw that myself, I was sitting there in absolute stunned shock for like a minute. Like, I couldn't believe what I was just seeing. My mind is like, only word, she's awesome for doing that. No, how could they do that to her? What's going to happen to her? I mean, it's like a million thoughts just exploded at once. I'm like, no.
Anyone else? Could have been anyone else. No.
John, it's okay. It just shows how much you care.
No, it actually shows how much the show cares and actually having her, because she's basically our mascot, our original mascot. So the fact that she did get a decent amount of screen time just, shows that, we're definitely going to recognize her.
Yeah, and it, I mean, she did succeed at, well, I mean, I still think Rainbow Dash is the one to actually save Twilight, but at the very least, Derpy, must have been attempting it or something. And just the fact that she was there and they had to wait for like the dust to clear to see, and then see the party hat fall off to realize it wasn't an alicorn. Like that gave Twilight and friends the time they needed to actually like get away, pretty much.
Can I be devil's advocate? Can I be the devil's advocate?
Sure.
Quick? It's not serious, using mock speeds, Rainbow Dash saw Derpy, said, "Hey, she'll be a nice decoy." Grabs her.
No.
Hey,
Oh,
you still got people sending me links to the real Pinkie Pie is still trapped in the mirror pool thing. Do not start with me on dark stuff people are thinking about in this show. All right.
Yeah, well, I mean, she did do the whole thing with the flare. I mean, she did. I don't know about.
Anyway, but yeah, so they escape. They, interestingly, Twilight's magical beam thing like reflects off that shield. So apparently, the Storm King's troops had magic reflecting shields, which was interesting. And then they blow up the bridge under their own feet and plummet down the waterfall and yada yada, and then onto adventure from there. And of course, I'm sure all of you guys caught it right away. The wonderful product placement, hungry hippos.
Oh yeah, they had.
I didn't actually notice it until one of my friends pointed it out. I was like, hungry hippos, like,
dang.
Oh.
Dang, they're like, you got that right? And like, got what? Oh.
hungry hippos.
Yeah, I know. I lost it when I heard that. It's just like, oh, you guys are sneaky. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah. So at least Twilight had managed to hear that Celestia's command to Luna, like, go south to find the queen of the, well, it's supposed to be hippogriffs. All she got was hippos, or hippo, and then boom, she got sealed. So
yeah,
queen of the hippos. Oh, okay, sure. Yeah. So I did wonder how they were. I did wonder. I said back in my analysis of the trailers, I was wondering how they were actually going to come about finding the sea ponies or the hippogriffs, hippocamps, whatever you want to call them here. It's like, did they know to look for them, or did they just stumble upon them, or what happened? Well, they actually were looking for them, so that we know that now. But
there's something.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and after that little moment was like they came together, figure out what to do. We got some more amazing animation shots of Everfree Forest before we then get to the desert, which again looks freaking. Just like when I first watched it, I have to say again and again, the animation is so freaking good.
Mm-hmm. It definitely had some Disney-esque feels to it. Yeah.
The movements look so much more like fluid and almost water-like than in the show itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just the subtlety of the character movements and like the facial expressions. The facial expressions, especially and I'm not just talking about your ridiculous, goofy faces. I'm just saying facial expressions in general were so much more detailed in this movie. It's like there was a lot more body language where you could actually see like the thoughts that were going through their minds as they were, thinking them and stuff, just based off the body language. We never get that level of detail in the TV show.
Though, is it just me, or did they make their eyes bigger in the movie?
They made them sparklier, except we're not going to go down that sparkle route. We're not going to talk about Twilight and eye sparkle because we're getting way too close to vampires, and I can't deal with that right now.
The eyes were different. It's like they were. I don't think they were bigger, but they were shaped a little bit differently too. And I think the colors were
more detailed to the irises.
Yeah, there was a lot more detail, and I think that the colors were more pronounced and stuff. So, Yeah, it's all different rigs of course, but so they're so squishy. But yeah, so yeah, they move on to the desert. And speaking of faces, oh my word! I mean, Pinky especially. I thought she was she almost went Pinkamena in that desert. I felt like.
Yeah. That's going Pinkamena. Like, please now.
Like, not movie version of Pinkamena. That would break me.
Don't forget, even in the desert, Pinky was able to find another friend.
Oh, the skull. Yeah.
Scully McSkulson.
Ah! Why?
Wherever she goes, friendship will follow.
Yeah, but when she like face planted into the sand and then just kind of deflated, I'm just like, where is this gonna go?
Fluffy, please stay fluffy.
Yeah, and then only to just bounce back later, like, oh, there's Pinky for you. So.
Sweet civilization.
Hey, there's a town over there. Oh, I'm happy.
Oh yeah, well, don't forget Spike too. I mean, Spike was really amping up the drama too in that scene.
They went like Ren and Stimpy sometimes with some of that animation. I don't know. It got a little. The animators had a lot of fun in that scene, especially with Spike. I mean, it also looked like Hot Diggity Demon. If you want, it looked like that. It did. It looked like that style. I was like, okay, we're definitely going down a weird road here. But
so anyway, they get to Kluga. I think that's how you pronounce it. I could be wrong, but yeah. And interestingly, I don't think it was ever actually named in the movie itself, but it's like, you know, with all the prequel stuff and whatever, we knew the name of it well ahead of time. So
I didn't, because I don't watch the prequel stuff.
Oh, okay. So I don't know where I originally heard that. I saw it somewhere along the way. So. But yeah, very interesting city and marketplace. That got a little dark. That got very dark.
Here.
Got a little fishy because
If I could go on a small rant, the first scene we get inside of the city is a merchant leaning over to us like, "Hey, how much you want for that horn?" While we see on his desk like a couple of unicorn horns already there, ready for sale. And
so are you selling? I'm like,
I'm jumping a bit forward, but yeah, like we see several cases where people try to buy Spike or all of the ponies, which basically means slavery.
It's like trafficking.
It's a MLP the movie, a family picture with
family picture.
Yes.
One of the things that I took away from watching that is the ponies themselves didn't seem to be too capable of defending themselves in that situation. And then I thought to the Dragon Kingdom, how, you know, the dragons seem to outclass the ponies to a large extent in power and strength and scariness and general stuff. It made me think like maybe in the greater world, Equestria and the ponies may not amount to all that much in terms of power and strength as a nation and whatnot.
Yeah, they must not be seen as that much since they are basically souls to everyone.
And we're talking.
Came up to tell us like, "Oh, you cutesy pony, what can you do?" Like, I don't think ponies are taken that seriously at all outside of Equestria.
Yeah,
it does. Yeah, it does seem that way. Well, I don't know if it's so much that though, as it's just they don't actually go outside of Equestria all that much. I mean, it seems to me that there's, you know, I mean, there's obviously what do I call it? Like a bubble, not like an actual shield bubble, but it's like, you know, here's the land of Equestria under which, you know, it's under the protection of the princesses, and they're, you know, will doom anybody that tries to attack their people and whatever. So it's like the ponies, they kind of like, nobody wants to really mess with all that magical power. And the ponies don't really have any need to go beyond that land, so they just don't really interact all that much with some of these other places, perhaps. That's kind of what it looks like to me. But
so you're saying that they just don't know enough about ponies and just see some small fluffy ponies?
Possibly, yeah. I think it's like, I don't necessarily think that they're isolationists. It's just, you know, there's really no need for these other cultures to interact with the ponies and vice versa very much. So it just they not as much knowledge about each other.
Well, we do know to the north is the Yaks. That's desert or tundra, icy, cold. And to the south is apparently the Badlands, which is desert. So if there's not very hospitable traveling weather in either direction. So
yeah, it's like to get down to this place, they have to go through the Badlands, which obviously wasn't, very, very comfortable. So,
and I believe when I saw the map to the east is like water, then the Dragonlands. That's probably not a particularly entertaining travel destination either.
But at least in this city, we get introduced to the best character.
Capper.
Yep, I love Capper.
He's a cool
He's
cat.
pretty cool. I was gonna go. I have to say this. Back to the whole human. I mean, back to the whole horn thing and them selling the horns. It just reminded me of that Futurama thing with human horn. I'm sorry. I had. I don't know. I'm sorry. When I'm making my review, I'm putting that in there. I don't care. I'm shoving that in there. It's funny.
Yes.
But yeah, Capper. Yes, he is quite a cat.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was going to make a joke, but I've decided against it.
Okay. Yeah, Capper is definitely an interesting individual. Oh, I was just gonna say that basically the experience in that town is basically where we got the PG rating from. It looks like so.
But
yeah, Capper definitely a little smooth talking salesman there and whatever, is able to quickly talk his way out of that situation or help the ponies out of there. But it did seem a little bit too convenient. I mean, I knew he was going to turn out to be a good guy, but there definitely was something a little fishy smelling about that. Like a way he was instantly helping him out. So,
well, cats do like tuna, so
this is true. This is very true.
Did anyone else? I just got to ask. Did anyone else get Aladdin vibes at during that city and stuff, like with the marketplace song?
During the song, I thought it was like a mix of the two songs, the one step ahead at the beginning of Aladdin, and then the friend like me.
Friend like me. Yeah.
I thought of it as almost like a mesh between those two song themes.
I think Do You Want to Build a Universe just had a mirror pull incident right there.
He cloned himself or something. What's going on?
What? I don't know if you guys can hear me, but I'm having a lot of internet troubles. I couldn't really keep up with a single thing you guys were saying.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
Oh, we lost him.
Oh, so
nice.
You can I'll
back.
See if I can get somewhere with this. Yeah, again, I can't. Johnny, I can't hear a single thing you're saying. The lag is just like cutting it off to the point where when you're done with your sentence, I'm getting like the last two words of it.
We can hear you right now.
Yeah,
and that's the scary part.
All right. Well,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Should we just continue?
Yeah. Go. Don't make me stop the entire conversation. As soon as I find a good place, go. I'll jump in when I.
But yeah, with Capper, we also get, in my opinion, the best song of the movie.
Yeah, it's my second favorite.
I really enjoyed that one, especially because of the Aladdin-esque vibe. Even though I wasn't thinking of Aladdin, it's just the tones, the music they chose to make. I really loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely stuck in my head.
it was a good song. I mean, it's not my favorite. We've each got our favorites for various reasons, but I do enjoy it. The one thing that always strikes me about that song is interesting is just that line from Rarity, like right at the end of the song. It's like he's a friend and quite a friend. And just the way she says it is weird. I mean, it's not a bad weird. It's just odd.
I kind of got a little bit of a shipping vibe off of that in two scenes.
Yeah, exactly. She was crushing on him a little bit, and Spike was.
She is the main person who fixed his thing, so that's some good shipping material there.
Rarity already owns one cat.
Oh my!
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Oh.
That's actually genius. I'm writing that down. I'm gonna write that down as material. There you go.
Oh.
Okay, after this, we're all going to have to gather in the streets and burn him to death for the fan art that's going to create.
Yeah.
Hey, screw you! I live on the other side of the world. You can't get me.
Yeah, he's right. It's going to be a long walk for me.
I'll
moving
swim
on.
it.
Moving on, but
Yeah.
the interaction with him in his his litter box, as he called it, his little apartment there or whatever, that was awesome. For me, the favorite line was, was it, objects in window may be less mountainous than they appear, or whatever. Like, oh,
That was funny.
line.
Him trying to subvert the attention to the area they're trying to go so much. It's just, oh man, it's like a Phoenix Wright.
So much wind.
Yes.
And then Virgo.
I also like how I watched Silver Quill's video about the movie and how he said that his song was pretty much Cars trust in me sort of thing.
Mm. Yeah, and then Virgo shows up, and wow,
It was
him
like a
and
mole or something. What was he?
he was a mole, I think, wasn't he?
Like a naked rat, right? Naked rat.
Like a mole rat or something like that. Yeah.
His glasses reminded me of Hubert Farnsworth for some reason. He was like a rat version of Hubert Farnsworth. I have no idea why that just came and appeared to me in my brain, but yeah.
Some sort of subterranean critter, and obviously a slave trader as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then he got in there, and then when I was gonna say when Tempest showed up and he started just grabbing and squishing her face. I mean, first of all,
like, dude,
there was no way Tempest should have been that cute. And secondly, you're gonna die.
As soon as he touched her face, her face, I'm like, oh my mamo, Shinderu. He's gonna be like, Nani?
Oh, what kind of tricks can this cute little pony do?
Lightning and pain and several thousand volts of electricity.
And
electric chair. That's what she can do.
I do have to compliment Tempest on waiting for that line because it was the perfect moment to strike.
Yeah. It's like the best way to handle a dude like that is beating him up after he tries to be cute.
And like, speaking of like that whole scene before the whole mole rat thing, like Tempest just walking across that doorway with her smile and like her eyes, like you just she's evil. You could they really did a good, because a movie is only as good as its villain. And
evil is a strong word for Tempest.
Well,
I'd say he's more scarred.
Yeah, scarred. I mean, but
yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'd go with evil, but with the caveat of saying every villain is the star of their own story.
Yeah, there you go.
It's the hero of their own story.
I wouldn't call her the. I don't think she was evil, but she was a fantastic antagonist, basically.
Yeah, just a roadblock for them to hurdle over.
Yeah.
And so I guess you could say that she left a real mark on this movie. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I want to talk about Tempest and her associate when we get into like characters in our own discussion deal.
Oh yeah.
Right, I'm just going through the movie and the basis, but when we get to like specific characters and what they do in the movie, I can't wait to talk about Tempest.
Yeah. Tempest struck me like the whole way through the movie. I just had this feeling it's like she's not really going to be all that bad. She's just got in a bad situation in life, and is responding to that the only way she knows how.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Just before we're getting further, I'm sorry. I realized we forgot one particular scene that I wanted to discuss earlier in the movie. The communication scene between Tempest and the Storm King. Dial-up modem, anyone?
The spell phone. Yeah, the spell phone.
The spell phone.
Bad spell service.
I about died when I heard that. Yes.
I didn't actually hear them call it a spell phone. Is that what they said?
No. Since they say bad spell service, I'm just calling it a spell phone.
Oh, bad spell service. I actually did not hear that.
Yeah, no, they had this bottle of liquid that was ringing like a cell phone. It's like, well, answer it. Okay, dump the liquid out, and it, you get this dial-up modem sound, connection call, like video conference thing, and then after it went all gibberish at the end, it disappeared. Grubber was like, sorry, Bad spell service. Want me to
See,
call back?
This is how bad AOL was. Even the ponies have it.
Yeah.
It's just how behind in technology they are.
You cannot escape.
I just before this call saw a meme somebody created showing they overlaid like the AOL logo over that blue flame, and it says like it said Equestria Online dialing.
Well, you know, if CD technology actually exists in Equestria, the unicorns can have a lot of fun putting them on their horns, and unfortunately, some jackass would turn it into a freaking fidget spinner. You know what happened.
I dread the day.
Hey,
Anyway.
if someone turned those AOL discs into fidget spinners, at least they'd finally have a purpose again.
Yes, this is true.
Again? You mean they just have a purpose, period.
Oh, throwing the shade.
Hey, those used to come
Everywhere.
with, remember, they used to come with like 1,500 free hours of internet service.
Dude, 3 hours internet service. Those were the days,
Wow.
man. Those were the days.
Anyway, so back into the sequence of the story. So
Back to the movie.
that we had the wonderful escape scene, which completely defied any and all laws of physics. But who cares?
Yeah, I like this show.
It's one of those moments where it's like, oh, it's technically impossible. I shouldn't be able to move that gravity. Like, who cares? It looks awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
And the physical properties of Equestria may not be exactly like the ones on Earth. I mean, come on,
How do you know
guys.
exactly the gravity is 100%?
Exactly. Seriously.
As you can see, the moon and the sun are completely separate from each other.
Well, I have to point something else out. Pinkie Pie in physics, and tell me the name.
true.
Tell me the name Fizzlepop does not sound like a party pony name.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We'll get to that. We'll
get there.
All the way at the end.
Yeah. But no, it's just my only real problem with it is just the whole thing with that windmill thing, spinning away. It's like for the four of them that were hanging on to that thing, like they should have been flung off that thing with centrifugal force. That was my only slight issue with that. But it's like whatever.
My suspension of disbelief is destroyed.
Yeah, it made. And I do have to say when they got finally flung off that thing onto the catwalks or whatever along the buildings. I mean, Rarity. I give props to Rarity. She went into like one of those tumbling rolls and then popped right out of it and was running alongside the rest of them. Like, nice recovery.
Especially for her, yeah.
Yeah. So that was fun, but
and of course, in the escape with the rope, Pinkie nearly got herself killed.
oh yeah. Well, that's funny. It's like first you had Applejack just shoving Rarity along the thing, and then Fluttershy apparently got to fly again. And then Pinkie comes along and bounces. I'm like, not the time or the place. Yeah. And that was dark too. Like Twilight almost had to scrape Pinkie off that rock down there. I mean, that was wow.
But then she was like, best escape ever.
That's Pinkie Pie for you. She always look for the bright side of whatever goes on, period.
Yeah, that's her thing.
Like, she's alive.
That, but...
Time to make a joke.
Pinkie Pie is kind of like the Launchpad McQuack. Any landing you can walk away from is a good one.
Yes, a crash landing is still a landing, sir.
Oh man, there's a name I haven't heard in forever. Yeah.
And then we got introduced to the best pun in the movie, the parrot pirates.
Pirates. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like normally they said that. Yeah.
They're not saying
the shoulder
humans on their shoulders.
Pirates and
Yeah.
It speaks for itself, but
Disney's going to buy the copyrights to those characters and create some movies called Pirates of the Caribbean.
No,
God.
no, please no.
Oh,
No, I don't want another Pirates of the Caribbean
please.
remake. The first one was great, then they just ruined everything, and it tears me up inside.
No, I have to say, I would want to see a spin-off show or movie or something of just those pirate characters. I'm dead serious. They were awesome.
Applejack needs to make a cameo and finally fulfill her destiny as becoming a damn pirate. I want it.
I was so disappointed that there is no pirate Applejack. Come on. But I have to give that a pass. I have to give that a pass because that song, I mean, that was Rainbow Dash's moment. And I tell you that song for me, Time to Be Awesome, is the best song in the movie for me. So it just, the lyrics, as I was listening to the soundtrack repeatedly, the lyrics of that song really kind of sunk in, and it connected with me on a rather personal level and stuff. It just kind of feels like it describes my entry into the fandom and doing my YouTube stuff and whatever. It's just like I, managed to get out of my shell from the daily grind and whatever, and do something cool and different and whatever. And it,
yeah, and
awesome.
And don't let others tell you what your tastes, personality, and life should be too.
Yeah, don't let the man tell you what to do, and then only have one break, and then just stop what you're doing just so you can have that one break, because it's the only one you have.
yeah. But I gotta say that lunchroom scene though was fantastic.
It was great.
Well, first of all, the first thing you see, I didn't see this on initial watch, but I did on later watch. Is like, okay, get panning scene over the whole room. They're all sitting at the table. And Applejack is eating that nasty stuff.
It's Applejack. You're like, wouldn't be the first time she had to eat something rather weird looking.
Exactly. Like, what kind of stuff has she had to eat out in the farm?
Hey, look, desperate times call for desperate measures.
And like, I would expect Pinkie Pie to go through that. Because,
yeah, I was actually shocked that Pinkie Pie wasn't.
Yeah, her stomach was made of iron, except for like baked bads and stuff like that. But
yeah, but this is one of those scenes where I said that the facial expressions are phenomenal, because the expressions on Rainbow Dash's face as she was like kind of processing this whole situation and realizing what had happened to these parrots and stuff. I mean, you could just see what was going through her head, and then her face is lighting up and whatever. And then she starts in and just like, it's time to be awesome again, or whatever it was. And then Twilight
Yes, I have. It was my avatar for a very long time. I love that face.
That was like the best Twilight face in the whole movie, right there.
I love it when the show and it is kind of self-aware, because Twilight, Rainbow Dash, there's no time for a song.
Yeah, I would say it's like a callback to the self-awareness from the first season, from the season opener. Just like, is she really singing?
Exactly.
Is she really singing? It's like the show has always been
my favorite moments ever. It's so good.
Music numbers are always intentional. They literally break out in the song, and just people notice it. Right? They don't go into some dimension.
But it's like Twilight realizing, like, once again, is like, no, you are not about to do what I think you're gonna do. It's like, didn't we talk about this? Aren't we supposed to be not drawing attention to ourselves
and more attention?
Yeah, I do have to say there, Twilight was kind of a little bit hypocritical on that, at least initially, because I'm sorry, I'm jumping back to the city there, but when they first walked in there, like, what's the first thing that happened? Well, first of all, they're walking around like it's nothing new or exciting or strange or concerning or whatever. It's just like, oh, it's just another place. And they're clearly way out of their element. They stick out like a sore thumb. And what's the first thing Twilight does? She uses her magic to rearrange these barrels and stuff. And then, so she's drawing attention to themselves, and then turns right around and yells at Pinkie for drawing attention to them.
Maybe because she realizes that attention is a bad idea, especially with how that guy reacted to her magic.
Well, I get what Applegeek is saying. Like, they obviously are out of the element, so instantly they should go with the fact that drawing attention is bad. Twilight helping the guy out, I see that as someone needs help. I'm just gonna do it because it's like an instinct at this point. I have to help someone who's in trouble or in dire, like in the needs of like assistance. And that would be, I would have seen her been like, oh man, okay, that was a stumble, especially since how he reacted. So I can see what you're saying, Applegeek, and I also understand, like, yeah, she is kind of hypocritical in that aspect, but not like she fully intended to just be like, hey guys, I have magic.
Oh yeah, that's true. It just, I guess the biggest thing that just frustrated me about that scene is just like their seemingly, obliviousness to, like, this is a strange new place with, creepy individuals and stuff. And like, we really need to be on our guard and be careful what we do here, because we have no, we're way away from home. It's a strange place. We don't understand how things work here. We have no backup. It just seemed like there should have been a little bit more caution going into that, but it's, again, I'm nitpicking.
And I just want to quickly point out, when Twilight said that they should try not to put like too much attention to themselves, I'm like, you're the most colorful thing in this city. Someone just
That's so true.
in your direction, and then they can see you.
Yeah,
Pastella's coloritis.
yeah, Pastella's coloritis. I mean, as soon as they made fun of the fact, I'm like, yeah, they are fully aware that they stand out really well.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
But anyway.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but no. For back to the parrot ship. Sorry.
The pirate.
Yeah,
Parrot ship. Whatever.
Here again, it was one of those parts in the movie where it's like, okay, this feels a little rushed because it was practically like flipping a light switch of how quickly those parrots decided to turn around and go back to being pirates again and stuff. I understand they needed to move the plot along. It just felt a little bit rushed for me, but
it felt a bit like we're enslaved by the Storm King. How about not being enslaved by the Storm King? That sounds like a good idea. It's like,
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it is kind of like that, especially when you put a music number in there, which is, notorious for just taking one scene with one mindset and just throwing it away and just like, this is a new mindset now. But the song did hold implication. Rainbow Dash is all about loyalty still, even though, they're detached from the element, but they still are really applying to them. So her wanting to have the pirates basically break the shackles, become pirates again, go against the system, especially when you have Rainbow Dash, a very good motivational speaker, apparently.
Yeah, it's time to be awesome.
Yeah, and like
I will admit it's fast, but in realms of believability with the characters.
And like with songs, you can explain things a lot better. Like as far like you're supposed to, it's like a suspension of disbelief or something like that, where it's like you're not supposed to think that they're like always like singing all the time, even though in that one episode and in the earlier in this season, like they were self-aware about them singing. But like I don't know, with song you can sort of move the plot forward. I mean, they did that in the Crusaders of the Lost Mark, basically the entire episode.
Yeah,
but songs are a great
also,
way to move.
Magical mystery cure. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's definitely one of them.
Yeah.
Should we sing that song about it?
One of the best ones. I forget which episode it was. I think it was when Apple Bloom was going out, and then the Chimera showed up. Where I think they were gonna play a song, and it's like, oh no, it's too late. No time for a song. We gotta go. It's like,
that's
one of the best
parts I like about that episode.
Yeah, it's like, that's the best
self-awareness. Yes.
So self-aware.
That was the only good part about that one.
And you also got to remember on the ship, all the ponies were wearing their little ended up wearing the pirate gear that perfectly emphasized their own personality, because Rarity had that big tall purple hat, and Rainbow Dash had like the bandana tied over her head, and they all had the perfect pirate get up in that, and I also found that very amusing and interesting, and I noticed that and enjoyed that quite a bit.
For some reason, that scene reminded me of The Matrix when like Neo goes into the real world and they have like this slop on the table, and like just the fact that like the uniforms that they had were just so drab and like gray and stuff like that. I don't know why, but that's just immediately what popped into my brain with all that like food, which we have no idea what the heck that was. I don't think we want to know.
I think it was a mix of bird seed and like some type of porridge or something.
Sure, we'll just go with that.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget they had pudding.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
which was the exact same stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Rarity was saying, "Oh, pudding."
Yeah. But anyway, we got to move on from that. So
after the Sonic Rain Boom, that clearly gave away the movie.
Yeah, the Sonic Rain Boom thing. They gave him away, and I wasn't expecting that, but it's like, okay, I can see now how that showing off made sense. Yeah.
I just have a little bit of a gripe with that scene, just a little bit. It's obvious what it is. It's like, okay, should we blame Applejack for going way too far with her showing offiness and saying that she should know that they're being tracked by
Rainbow Dash?
Rainbow Dash.
Rainbow Dash. Did I say someone? Sorry, Rainbow Dash.
Applejack.
Sorry.
I'd love to see Applejack do a Sonic Rain Boom.
That would have been awesome. Sonic Apple Boom, boom, boom.
Just an explosion of apples.
Sonic
Apple Boom.
Yes. Sonic Apple Boom, boom.
Fan art.
Fan art, please.
Fan art now, please.
Copyright it.
But yeah, it's just like she got way too big-headed to the point where just like, let's show off for the sake of showing off a sonic rainbow to these pirate characters, knowing for a solid fact we are being tracked, and this thing can shatter boulders from a long distance away. So you're telling me no one's gonna notice?
I at least have to say, I mean, she had been itching for a chance to do that. I mean, there was at least 2 times earlier in the movie.
Yeah. They
suggested doing that.
They basically hyped it up. Basically, anyone who didn't know about the sonic rainbow, they would know about the sonic rainbow because she knows she can do it. And I get it.
But just doing that sonic rainbow, it's like she was
just.
Hey, we're over here.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's basically she. I can understand her wanting to do that. I mean, that's her signature move. That's the thing, and
not
getting hyped up over that
just,
song. It's easy to do that, you know.
Yeah.
It's time to be awesome.
Exactly.
Let's top off this awesome reunion of pirates being awesome with an awesome move that I know, that I believe.
And I was amazing with that animation.
I will say one other thing that you can actually blame the parrots a little bit too, because that they were kind of, you know, they're doing this one up each other thing, and they I don't know what they were supposed to be as sails or whatever, those color fin things that came out from the ship, but you know they did that, and so of course Rainbow Dash had to outdo that with the sonic rainbow, you know. But it's like, okay, the parrots too, it's like you're again you've got like refugees or, you know, like it's, you know, wanted ponies on board that you're essentially now smuggling, and you're, you know, breaking off from the Storm King's orders and everything. You're also drawing attention to yourself by bringing out those colored sails.
That's
It
true.
was a peacock ship.
Yeah, it basically said, hey, look, we're over here as well. I get that. One thing I will say too, I think I would have appreciated like the moment a little bit. It's like, man, you really gave us our awesomeness back by helping us out. But how do we know that you yourself are as awesome as us? Check out our ship. Then I'll see her get that big of a head and be like, check this out.
Yeah.
hold my
I would have I'll be like this. Yeah, hold my cider. Just go. I really believe that. Yes, that was brilliantly said. Hold my cider.
Nice.
Yes, I would have actually believed that a little bit better than her just being like, okay, I'm just gonna do it because. But yeah. That's it. Yeah, that's just my gripe. That's it. It's not that.
Just to segue off that, then we immediately get the scene with Grubber's like, oh, look at that rainbow. Oh, that's so cool. I'm like, that's what everybody watching just said.
By the way, one thing we haven't said about Grubber so far that I only realized when listening to him for a bit, he has a lisp.
Yeah, he has a huge lisp.
I didn't notice that before watching the movie.
Yeah.
It was weird.
I know it was said that Michael Pena, that they had him like just come in and like ad lib, like do all kinds of different crazy lines and stuff, and then they like cherry picked which ones to use in the movie. So I don't know how many of the lines that he got were actually ad lib, but there is some pure gold in some of this stuff he said.
Oh, I like power.
When Tempest gets onto the ship, has boarded it, and they send it, they're like, this is intense.
All right, yeah. All right. Since we are on the topic of Grubber, I think I should.
Here we go.
Go for it.
My opinion on Grubber. All right. Before I say anything, I like him. Okay, I like him. Mm-hmm. He was actually pretty funny. However, I do not like him on a certain sense. Now, I think you guys
up.
Okay, fire shield up. You guys know me when it comes to like how I like my villains, right? I like my villains to be intimidating, and they speak to themselves with their own intimidation. Grubber is around Tempest, let's say 85% of the time. And most of the things that Tempest does, he has to do his commentary. And kind of, for me, take the scene where she blitzes the fish guy and it just slams him down to the ground. Like, if this was a villain standpoint, that's her showing her intimidation tactics. It's showing how strong she is. I mean, like, and even when she said easy as pie, she made that sound threatening. She made that actually sound threatening to me. But just having him then come in with his own side comment kind of derailed that serious factor, because it's like he comes in. I get it, and it in some cases it was funny, but for me, I would have loved Tempest to be like a sole act, being this like Terminator-esque character on her own, going out trying to find these characters, doing it all her own kind of deal.
Yeah.
That's
I think
he was basically the worst hype man ever.
kind of, yeah.
I think what it basically he was there for. I mean, well, clearly it's comic relief villain and stuff,
And
but
that's exactly
I mean,
what I
but
said.
he did. I do appreciate this. He wasn't made to look like an imbecile, as I mean, a lot of comic relief villains are basically just idiots. Just like extremely low IQ and being ditzes and whatever. I mean, he was actually rather intelligent. He just kind of had a one-track mind of his sweets and stuff, and then the stuff
And pretty things such as sonic rainbows in the distance.
Yeah, but I think overall, just trying to think conceptually about what they were doing with that character. I think for the benefit of the intended viewing audience, they may have felt that Tempest by herself would have been just a little too edgy and scary or something. So they had
T-Rex was cool, but we need to have
they added Grubber in to. I mean, he basically softened the. I mean, you had this like really intimidating, intense line, and then Grubber added his line that gets you to laugh a little bit. It takes the edge off the intensity of that. So
yeah, and I guess I can just put up to me. I'm just the guy who likes the intensity like a little bit more than the
threatening villains as well.
Yeah.
Like it's the sidekicks like Grubber where I think like why do the villains keep him around? It's just
because even they have to have their own comic reliefs and get them out of their own little funk, It's like that part of them that wants to be happy, and then he's here.
And he did, like I said, he was competent. He did do well as the evil assistant, So.
Well, I mean, gophers have their role in society.
Again, I don't hate Grubber. I don't hate Grubber. I just feel like, for me, as the person who likes the serious factor in his villains, he kind of derailed a lot of moments for me. And that's it. That has nothing to do with him as a character. I'm not calling him an idiot for doing what his side commentary is. Just saying, for me, personally. Personal preference. So firewalls could be dispelled. I think that's one of the only things I will complain about.
Right. But what was he like? Was he like a hedgehog or something?
Yes, he's a hedgehog.
He's a hedgehog.
Okay.
He even had one of my friends being like, rolling around at the speed of Grubber. Got no places to go, gotta come with my Tempest. I don't know.
Oh, they missed having him do like a spin move in there somewhere. That would have been awesome. But yeah.
I just had that going, gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast.
No. I'm just imagining a horrible piece of fan art right now.
Oh, God.
All right.
But they're on this ship now. It's getting pretty intense. Like freaking Tempest is threatening to destroy the entire ship if they don't get involved with the refugees.
Yes. I'm like,
I just have to say the moment where it's like, okay, she sees them, turns the ship, rams the throttle forward, and it's like ludicrous speed, and then it shoots that claw thing through the side of their ship to then reel them in. And I somebody I was watching this with, it's like, stop blowing holes in my ship. That was super.
Yes.
That was good.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Let's have it.
Exactly. So yeah, that was great. But then, and yes, that confrontation there between Tempest and the I think that was actually before they boarded the parrot ship, or I don't know, it was one of the two. But when she's confronting Capper, and it's just like, it doesn't look like they're heading east after all. And he's just like, "Oh, I'm sorry. That's my bad. Just like he apologized like a dozen different ways, interrupting himself constantly. It was glorious.
Yeah.
I guess you could say at that point the cat was out of the bag.
Oh no!
Oh my God! There's so much cringe in one bit. Dude. I think this stream is just going to turn into us trying to one-up each other on puns.
Yeah. We got 7 seasons of bad puns.
Oh, God.
But then they escape by falling. Twilight hatches this. That actually was an interesting scene. Yes, with style. And it's like all the rest of the main six were just kind of like, well, we're doomed. Like they just kind of had given up.
People who know how to fly couldn't fly.
Yeah.
Falling at that velocity because they couldn't, get their wings good. Yeah, plus terrified. Yeah.
Well, I'd like to point out that Rainbow Dash was flying, but then Twilight grabbed her and shoved her in the basket.
Yeah. Rainbow Dash, look on her face,
the expression on her face. Yeah.
It's just
yeah, I could save myself. What the? Okay.
Just like fine. Rarity in the mirror. That was glorious.
No, of course, I had
That
to
was the
throw that in
definition
there.
of falling with style.
Yes, literal style.
And even after at first she was just like, flailing, freaking out, and then she sees the mirror and like, oh, got to check this out. And then she falls past the mirror. Then she goes into like
that was great.
Drama level freak out instead of real freak out.
If she does wind up becoming a bloody smear on the rocks, it'll be a fabulous smear on the rocks.
That's the second time a character pretty much didn't take a serious moment that seriously, like Pinkie Pie with the rock, and now Verity with the falling to her doom. You gotta love these characters and how they can just make both groups things are good fun.
It's like Twilight probably has this. Yeah, she got it.
I do just have to take a moment to sidetrack a little bit here. I mean, it's a good spot to talk about Fluttershy. This is another beef that I kind of have with where they went with the character profiles in this. Now, granted, I do understand this movie began. They started working on this movie like at the end of season 4. That was a long time ago, and Fluttershy's character has grown immensely in the last couple seasons.
Just being pen pals with the Chaos King. Come on. Yeah,
so it was a bit frustrating, and I've heard, but I've also heard, even though this movie started way back when, I remember seeing an interview or something with Megan McCarthy, how she's saying, like, unlike the show where like once they sign off on the script, like it's done. Whereas here they were constantly going back and making edits and rewrites and stuff, like all the way through the animation process. So like it seems to me that somewhere along the way they should have been able to better capture Fluttershy's current personality,
newfound determination and stuff.
Yeah, her like forgetting how, like freezing up and forgetting how to fly, and just cowering in fear, whimpering at the thought of ghosts and stuff like that's going back to like old Fluttershy,
the only thing we got from that was actually a pretty good scene at the very end where the fight scene happened. We'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get to that, but let's just say not all of it was bad from that. But I get exactly what you're saying. I really would say that's exactly one of my gripes too.
I would like to point, even though Fluttershy has been a little bit bolder and more outward in personality lately, we do know for a fact she does still seem apparently hide under her bed during Nightmare Night.
Yeah, there is that. I guess the way I justify it in my mind is that Fluttershy will always have those tendencies. I mean, she is shy and timid by nature. She's done very well.
It's in her name
she's done well to overcome that and be more assertive and aggressive. But again, she's only just recently, fairly recently, kind of gotten to that point. And when you put her in a situation where she is completely out of her element, not even an Equestria anymore, there's all kinds of crazy things going on around him, I can understand her kind of reverting back to her natural self in some of these instances. It's easy to fall back on old habits when you're thrust into unexpected situations. So
and I'd also.
Do we need to quote her from Fame and Misfortune? Like, you try and learn something once and then learn it forever.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And I'd also like to point back, was it Rainbow Falls? Season 4, I think it was the one with lightning dust, where they get flung by the tornado and Fluttershy forgets how to fly for a moment there too and needs to be rescued.
Oh yeah, that was Wonderbolt's Academy, but that was season 4, so that made more sense.
That would make sense in the realms of it.
Yeah,
we don't. Okay, we need to fully gauge how she is now, in this current season.
Yeah. So anyway,
I'm just saying that I'm just pointing out that there is precedent for Fluttershy when she's panicking to. Forget to flap.
It goes for a lot of characters in this show. Put them in a scenario, they will tense up and forget especially one character, forget a lot of things that they've.
Yeah, well, Twilight herself did that in this movie.
Oh wait, I have wings.
But anyway, back onto the track. So they're falling, to apparent certain doom. Except Twilight has a plan, and I did not know. I had no idea just from the trailer like what was going to happen in that scene. Okay, they're falling from this airship. Why are they falling? What's going to happen? And when I saw her putting together that balloon, it blew my mind. I'm like, dang, that was a heck of a plan and like as soon as my mind could actually get to the point, like, wait, where's she going to get the hot air? At that exact moment, she's pulling Spike out. There's your hot air.
Oh Oh yeah, that's another point. Spike's fire is on fire this episode.
Yes. You know,
Spike was
Johnny
awesome
Firefly, you
in this
won.
movie.
Johnny's
You
on a
won.
roll tonight.
Yeah, you won. We give up. I get
He's
it.
on fire tonight.
I'm curious.
Forget
Since it got brought up, the battle at the end, was that the first time Spike used his fire as an offensive weapon?
Well, against like a living things, yes, because we cannot dismiss him using his fire to take out that the giant ice thing during the candlelight games.
Actually,
yeah.
In this movie, there is that one point when again we're jumping ahead here, but when Twilight is getting captured and pulled away by Tempest, Spike was grabbed by the goons and he literally set the guy's arm on fire to get away from him. Like, dang, Spike!
He was awesome in this movie. I'm just happy that was the case.
Yeah.
Like
I know
I'm
a good role.
I'll skip ahead, but like that fire, the flamethrower thing, that was like the ultimate badass type thing. Like that was.
Hey, aren't you a fire dragon? He's like,
yes, I am.
Spike uses flamethrower. It's very effective.
Super effective, incredibly.
To shine.
So Spike was great in his role. I said he was given an ample amount of screen time. He was there for a little bit of comic relief, but also as a supporting role. I mean, this is really kind of the best of Spike. He was there when he needed to be, and was kind of out of the way when he wasn't needed and stuff. It was good use of him. I forgot to mention that was awesome. Him playing with the crate drums during that song in the pirate ship, and then that parrot using his head as to beat the drum.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Can I also point out for Spike, I know when we get to the scene that we'll talk about with Twilight and whatnot, it goes to show still Spike is just the best friend for Twilight, being the first to go to her.
Yes.
So that again solidifying, if any friend of Twilight, it's Spike. Spike is there for her.
Yeah. All right, but they're in the hot air balloon. They're flying through the air over the tops of the treetops in the forest, and now they come to the Hippogriff Kingdom, which seems to be a dump.
But there is a one scene where
that was an awesome, like classic cartoon announcer voice right there.
That was so cool.
I don't know why I just went full, the old-fashioned announcer voice. I have no idea.
It was like your Super Friends announcer.
Yeah.
Can you do that voice one more time and say "in the city of Townsville"?
Okay. In the city of Townsville, battle has erupted. The powerful are going to defeat this.
Dude, you really do that well.
Yeah.
That is so perfect.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
They
can hire you for the reboot. That would be the only great
skills are going places.
Yes. Narrating. All right. So hot air balloon. Yes.
Hot air balloon going to Hippogriffs.
But there's one scene, I don't know if it is right after this, where Tempest is actually on the parrot ship.
Yeah.
And there's but there's that one scene with Grubber where he holds up the map. It's like, I think the Pinkie Pie drew on the map. It's like,
it's like that's a real artist right there.
Grubber
I was like, but I found this. It's kind of a cupcake with sprinkles. Oh yeah, I found this too. Like priorities.
Again, it was that scene. I love that scene. It was great.
That's probably a Pinkie Pie cupcake, so it's probably the most valuable thing on that ship.
Yes.
I was just happy they didn't draw that scene out for too long with the map and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they spent the right amount of time for Tempest to be like, oh, so you lied to me. I'm gonna blow your shit up.
I've got a little bit of an issue with Tempest like blowing that ship to smithereens. I'm like, isn't the Storm King gonna be pretty peeved when he finds out a whole shipment of his merchandise just went down in flames? I mean,
Applegeek. I don't know if this is for everyone else, but Applegeek
it
just
is.
went
I know it's exactly
what everybody else.
You do sound kind of weird, man. It's like
Yo,
when you
you
talk
went
You went full
like a
robotic.
Yeah.
You sound like a robot.
Yeah.
Beep, boop.
It kind of cuts in and out like by microseconds, and you just sound kind of jumpy. First, I thought it was lag, but not.
No, just happened like right now.
Yeah.
Say something again.
is it still happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still happening. Yeah.
We're all having problems this stream. Me with internet, and you now with this thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's probably the Blue Yeti. Mine had tons of trouble, so yeah. I literally had to take mine apart because it can only record in mono now. I can't do stereo, so I have to channel it through some voodoo wizardry.
Now we can't hear you.
Wait.
Can you hear me now?
Oh.
No, you're like completely robotic.
Yeah.
You may have to like
we can still understand you in a way.
Probably gonna have to like redo your mic settings or something. I don't know.
But I get what he said about the whole destroying the ship and a whole bunch of goods being destroyed. We get that.
We understand it. It's almost like you're talking like this.
Yeah.
Because I switched to a different mic.
You're good. You're good.
Don't touch anything else. You're good.
You're good.
Wait, hold on.
You're a little bit. You sound a little bit different, but it's no longer robotic.
Yeah, is this better?
Yay!
Yeah, it's good now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay,
cool.
I had to repower my mic.
Blow stuff up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Blowing the ship up and stuff. Good.
So what I was trying to say there. Sorry about all the technical difficulties. What I was trying to say is this Tempest. Do you just realize that you've just destroyed an entire shipment of Storm King merchandise? Like, I think he's going to be a little peeved when he finds out about that.
But I think he's going to be.
Yeah.
I think the Storm King was going to get more peeved over the fact that one of his own ships aided the refugees that the Tempest was chasing. So I think it kind of
It's another priorities deal. It's like, what would he be more peeved over? The fact that she destroyed a ship filled with lots of, like, a specific number of goods, or the fact that she couldn't get the princess that she needs to attain unlimited.
Well, no, but I mean, they had already escaped from the ship. That's my point. They weren't there anymore, and destroying the ship did not at that point help further the goal of getting Twilight.
But what would the Storm King do to them? Like if the Storm King was there, what would he do if he found out that that his own crew members, huge quotations, betrayed him in a sense and disregard his orders? I'm pretty sure he wouldn't jump to, let's destroy the ship with all my stuff in it. But I'm pretty sure he wouldn't also just like not do something like immediately.
Oh yeah.
But Tempest is a loose cannon. Like, I think she'll deal with it.
Yeah. At least, I will say this: at least she just destroyed the ship and didn't actually hurt the others, Capper and the parrots. So there's that at least.
Did we get like an explanation of how they made it from that, or is it just supposed to be like it just go?
No, it was just that they showed up later, and it's just like, well, our ship went down, but we're still here,
Well, I would also like to point out that Tempest was reading from the Storm King's code book or whatever, and said that the punishment for betrayal was, for his crew, I think, was to have their ship destroyed. So.
Oh.
So maybe they were owner-operators, so that therefore that was a big loss for them.
When I'm thinking about the Storm King's merchandise being destroyed, I'm just imagining, with his ego, he probably has like a humongous line of toys and collectibles that you squeeze, and they.
We saw the bobbleheads.
The bobbleheads and the.
I want
Storm, bro.
Merchandising.
Yeah.
Merchandise.
Hey, I'm still waiting on the Discord lamp, so.
Yeah.
There's that, and the Twilarina. Don't forget the Twilarina.
Yes, Twilarina, definitely.
Yes,
but no. Can we talk about the Hippogriff Kingdom?
Yeah, in addition to the parrot ship just going down mysteriously, we never actually saw the balloon land or crash either. Just apparently, per the dialogue, they crashed the balloon at the base of the mountain very inconveniently and got the best rarity drama scene in the entire movie. Just cannot even.
Simply cannot even.
She deserves an Emmy for that right there.
Tabitha, take this Emmy. You deserve it, madam.
Yes.
Here.
Please take my money. I take my money.
But then they find Skystar in that little abandoned city up there. Definitely got like Griffinstone vibes off there. But this looked in better shape overall than Griffinstone, but it was just completely deserted ghost town. So it's just a little creepy. But
maybe this is just me. But when they first arrived to the place and they saw those giant like statues. overlooking the entrance into the kingdom. I got major like Lord of the Rings vibe from that.
Never-ending story.
Never-ending story. Exactly. That's exactly what I was about to say. It's like I got never-ending story. It's like be careful going next to those things, guys. I don't know.
Oh, and then when they went into the cavern and there's all those markings up on the wall, Buddy of mine pointed out, oh hey, they're hippoglyphs.
I'm proud of that.
There we go. You're catching up to Johnny. You're doing it. Just with that.
I stole that one shamelessly, but sure, yeah.
Hey, all's fair in this game.
Yeah. But when they began to hear that singing from the princess, I was like, that's a siren. But then one of my friends pointed out, they're all females. All right then. Never mind.
The thing that's just really grating on me is I feel like that whole scene where there is this mysterious character singing in in private like that, and then somebody sneaks up on them and they hear that somebody and they quickly run away before whoever's sneaking up on them can see who it actually is. I swear I've seen that type of a scene progression in some other, one or more other movies somewhere along the way, and I can't think of what it was.
I know.
I'm sure I've seen that before as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone has seen that at some point in multiple movies. Actually, it's like a common thing. It's like, and then they run away and just like, oh wait, no, it's just
it's just because they were startled.
Yeah, they were startled.
Yeah, it says I know it's a common thing. It just drives me crazy that I can't actually think of even one other movie by actual name of where I've seen that before.
I think I remember it in Atlantis. That Disney movie,
The Little Mermaid.
Wait, the Disney Atlantis movie?
I think it was others because
I
you might be right.
Movies.
I know
you're right on that.
Actually. I don't know why I just go straight to the Atlantis movie when you say that. So it has to be somewhere in there.
It could be. I need to watch that again. But yeah, okay.
I need to watch it again too.
So anyway, and then they get
and then from there we got to that part of the movie where we go underwater. They almost drown.
Yeah, well, they got flushed down the drain.
Dark moment number 364.
Yeah.
And I'm just imagining like the Sonic drowning noises playing in the background with like a number slowly going down from 5. Exactly.
Yeah. I didn't get freaked out at all by that scene just because it's like obviously the movie's not going to end here. They're going to survive. We know
roll credits. They die.
Exactly. Yeah. But what did surprise me is I thought the whole time, based on the trailer, I just assumed that Twilight was the one that was going to make those bubbles and stuff, and she actually had nothing to do with it. So that was a little bit of a surprise. But
yeah, then I got to the sea ponies.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, I'm home. Check it out. And Queen Nova, oh my word, she is. I didn't know that I was going to like her.
I love her too.
I didn't know if I was going to like her, but I love her. The sass is off the chart.
I love how it subverted all expectations for me. As soon as I saw her design, I'm like, oh, she's going to be this regal, like kind of Celestia, but more like in the pleasant set. Nope, she's just, Halle Berry or something.
And then when I realized, go ahead.
I was gonna say that's the reason why I thought I wasn't gonna like her, because I saw that one trailer or clip or whatever it was where we got like one line of dialogue from her. I'm like, that doesn't sound like the regal queen like type at all. It's like, I don't know if I'm gonna like her. But then when I actually got to her in the movie, it's like, okay, she's awesome.
And then I realized that she was played by Uzo Aduba, who's also in Orange is the New Black. And that blew my mind because that character is quite different from the one in this movie. Especially those fan fictions. Holy crap.
I'm the queen. I know everything. I'm like, oh.
Like, from the moment I heard her accent and her voice, just like, oh, I'm going to like you.
Oh, yeah.
Best levels over 9,000.
Yes. He was great.
And of course, we also have Pinky 2.0. I mean, Princess Skystar.
No, Sonata 2.0, but much more intelligent and good.
Yeah,
and actually scarring loneliness, like scar levels. Like, whoa, dude, you are alone.
It's kind of like they take these characters with the kind of personalities and tropes that we have seen before, but they give like a legit reason for why they are like that. Like Skystar hasn't been friends with anyone else since they've isolated themselves for who knows how long.
A long time. Let's say 1,000 years.
People.
Yeah. So
you got Shelly and Sheldon,
Yeah,
greatest characters.
Shell complex there.
Without them, we would not have been.
Sheldon, I mean,
come on, best characters.
Yeah. Well, the Shell and Sheldon are basically her Wilsons, you know.
Wilson.
But what was I gonna say? Oh, the transformation, you know, using the pearl to transform. That was just, I mean, we see some of that before for anyone who's seen the trailers, but that was interesting. But the thing that killed me, I about lost it, was you know, and Spike turned into the pufferfish, you know, what is happening? And then right after that, Fluttershy pipes up and is like, he's so cute. I'm like, you did not just sit, like, that is what everybody says about you. You aren't supposed to say that about anybody else.
Well, it just solidifies again that Fluttershy is fascinated with Spike, whether he's a dragon or a pufferfish. It's just she finds him adorable.
She likes cute creatures, yeah.
hey, I ship it.
Yeah.
Well, also like the henchman at the end. That was a scene with Fluttershy. We'll get to that at the end.
Yeah. Again, that was one of the best
We'll get to that.
And once again, Rarity steals the scene from me. It's like, our fins! Look at
These are simply divine. Well, and of course, Applejack and Rainbow Dash immediately are going to have a race. I mean, I called that. Just like they're going to. Yep.
Yeah.
I love
that rivalry will never die, and I love it.
No. I do love how they just like automatically knew how to use these new bodies and stuff. It's just like,
yeah, that's always one thing about like fiction in general that I always kind of like. Man, your entire anatomy just changed, and you're just okay. Let's just, you know, it's like I've been doing this forever.
Apparently, I have gills now, and I'm going to immediately know how to breathe.
Yes, know how to open and close them appropriately. It's just like, come on, nothing changed.
It's like the movie The Abyss with like Ed Harris. It's like you're not going to learn how to breathe underwater like that quickly.
But anyway, so yeah, they, you know, of course, explain the situation. Yes, they get the whole backstory of everything, despite the Queen saying it. Just it's like seriously. But yeah, great backstory. Great backstory. And then of course, you know, we got to leave right away. And then Twilight's, no, you guys go. You know, take a minute and just, you know, have some fun and stuff. And we'll come back to the Twilight part, but the song. Let's just talk about the song. Did anybody else get vibes of Pinky's Present off this song?
I actually got more of a vibe of Under the Sea, to be honest.
Under the Sea.
Really? Well, yeah, there's definitely some Little Mermaid vibes off this, but I mean, just the like the instruments and the like the style of the song reminded me a lot. It was a similar style to what we got back in Pinky's Present in A Heartwarming Tale. So I mean, it was really good. I mean, it's not a bad thing.
Do it again, I think.
Yeah, I have to do it again, but yeah, I can understand the similarities between that and this song. And Skystar has a great voice.
I was gonna say Kristen Chenoweth. Boy, can she sing!
Wow. Yeah. I had no doubt it was great. She's good.
So yeah, that was fun to have the number that number, and it was cool too how that, like, in the middle of this, like, the Queen comes back out from her, you know, seaweed wrap or whatever, her spa treatment. And it's just like, what's going on out here? And then she gets sucked into it and stuff. And it's like, oh, I guess this ain't so bad after all. You know, it's just kind of cool how she warmed up to it and stuff. Again, they progressed the story through the song, and it really that was a really heartwarming song, honestly.
It was because it makes sense to the person who was singing it in general. Like, Pinkie Pie has always been the character to say, I don't like you frowning. I'm gonna put a smile on that face even if it kills me, and that's the only thing that makes me happy. A la Smile song.
Twilight even says, like, and who else can make a lifetime of enjoyment in a couple of minutes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Pinkie Pie. It's like as soon as I saw like how she was so like heartbroken, kind of just like she seemed so alone. I'm going to help her. And it's like, come on, we're gonna help her. And then just having Twilight say, yeah, go do that. I knew for a solid fact that what was gonna happen, and then when the song kicked in, I'm like, yes. But I know what's gonna happen, so it's like that back of my head. I'm like, oh my lord,
Distraction! Distraction!
It's like, really?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well,
really. Yeah.
We should probably get to that. Well, yeah.
I was gonna say, we'll talk about that. It's very unfortunate that Twilight basically used Pinky in that. You know,
Pinky and her friends.
Yeah.
Especially
like that.
Was actually about to like turn around and be like, you know what, maybe we should help them.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you're using like nice and kindness and friendship to get us to the right track, man. It's working. Wait, you're trying to steal my what?
Yeah, it's like Twilight had just basically went off the deep end and said, "Well, I thought something different was going to happen. I got confused. I thought she was just going to like run off by herself, and it was like I have to go do this alone. Like you guys stay behind so you don't get sucked into this. It's my issue. Kind of like she did in the season 4 finale. Where she tried to leave her friends behind and shoulder all the burden herself. But then when I realized that she was actually trying to like steal the pearl to use, just like, oh my, you did not just do that.
That was strike number 1 for me when that happened. That was strike number 1, but I could understand. But then it continued. The disappointment I had for Twilight continued when oh Lord.
Yes, the betrayal when she turned around and snapped at Pinky. Said it'd be better if I didn't have any friends like you.
Oh my.
That broke me. That absolutely broke me.
What hurts about that?
I just said to people, like, if you make Pinky cry, you effed up royally.
You don't make the element of laughter cry. That's the thing you don't do.
I don't actually remember what my expression was when I watched that, but I think it was, I'm so happy that they went this dark in this movie. I was actually proud. I know it's really a crappy scene. I know it's like, no, I was happy that they went that dark because it makes the ending so much more meaningful. That's why I loved how they went that brutally dark. And it makes sense, too, because of all the crap that happened in the beginning. It's like, did Twilight know that, the princesses were ever going to be rescued from this, stoned the stone thing? I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay. When we go in that scenario, think about how her mindset was in the season 4 opener when they were just kidnapped by the tree. Like, what was her mindset when trying to find out where they were, why they were kidnapped? Hey, look, the sun and the moon are in the sky. What was her compared to this in the movie? Was it similar? Because I'm trying to fully remember what her mindset was. Because she was calm in this scenario, so trying to say, guards, this is what you need to do. I'm going to be a princess and say this is what you need to do. And then when she gets closer to try to, get to the tree where the princesses are, I'm trying to be 100% on this. It's like, it feels like it's a little too, like, to talk down to your friends like that, especially when they were just trying to help you.
Like, Twilight was like scared in the season 4 finale, but she didn't flip out like she did here. She wasn't nearly as aggressive or as I'm trying to say independent in the way of thinking. Like,
in fact, it was her friends who told her to go back to Ponyville. We're gonna handle this, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and she complied.
She was nowhere near as like in their faces and as in the movie.
Yeah, but there is a significant difference though here, because I thought about this a lot between Twilight's Kingdom and this. Twilight's Kingdom, yeah, the princesses had depowered and whatever, and T-Rex was about to take over everything, but Twilight herself had the power of all 4 princesses. I mean, she wasn't completely, powerless or anything. That didn't happen until she actually had to, surrender the power to T-Rex. And then it went right from there to the, getting the chest and the rainbow powers and everything. But, she didn't feel completely helpless. So they were still home and whatever. Here is completely different because the princesses are completely out of commission, including their magic. And, they have no backup, no way home. They're completely out of their element, and they're powerless to stop the invasion. And then it got down to this final thing. Like, basically Twilight was doing her best to tolerate all the mistakes that the others were making to like draw attention to themselves and stuff like that, for allowing Tempest to track them down, just to get to the final goal, which was the Queen of the Hippogriffs. Like, that was supposed to be their salvation. They were supposed to have the power to help defeat the Storm King. And then when it got down to that, like, you're not going to help. I mean, when they initially denied help, Twilight basically just at that point probably completely lost it. It's like, I have to, desperate times call for desperate measures. And yeah, unfortunately, she forgot once again that friendship is the key thing. And just like, I have to do this because this is the only chance that we have. Desperate times.
Something.
Yeah, I want you to finish, but I want you to call on me once you're absolutely done.
Yeah. So I was basically done. It's just like, really dark times can push people to do things that they would normally never do otherwise, you know. So yeah, go ahead.
I admire the defense of Twilight, and I understand it, perfectly well. In fact, it was from your explanation that reminded me of a certain line that a certain pony said in the exact beginning of the movie to Twilight, when Twilight says, "I want to do this and this with your power because this would make it great." What did Celestia tell Twilight? That she had something.
You already have all the magic you need. Oh
my God!
Nice.
Now you appreciate this movie a little bit more.
Nice.
I find that
Yes.
So
yeah, I never made that connection. That's I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to excuse Twilight's behavior by any means. There's no excusing what she did. I'm just saying it's a reason why she might have gone there. You know, and it's I don't consider her going out of character for this because it was that kind of a situation that will drive somebody to do something desperate like that.
In fact, I think it's not a matter of her being out of character. It's a matter of her being too in character. In fact, this isn't the first time that she goes over the deep end when things get really hectic. Kind of like Fluttershy locking up. Yeah, lesson 0. It just shows that every one of the ponies will always have that underlined crux to them. No matter how much they progress with their other quirks they need to like expand upon. Fluttershy with the locking up of her wings, Rainbow Dash with her over big-headedness, they're trying to be cool all the time. All these things. Twilight going above and beyond, even when she might be going down the wrong road, is her thing. And it's that character flaw that allows me as a viewer to relate to her. Because it's like, she's the main character, but it doesn't mean that she has to be perfect. It doesn't mean that she has to not fumble so hard like that. And I like that. So
characters are boring.
Yeah. So don't for anyone complaining about the scene, hopefully they're just complaining about the fact that it was a crummy thing to do, but not saying that she is now a horrible character for doing it. That is exactly not what they need to go with. No,
she's just being herself on the stream.
Yeah, it is crummy. You know, use your friends as a distraction to steal a thing. That sucks. However, you see the reason why, you understand it. If you were in a scenario, I'm pretty sure you would think about it or do it too. We're people.
I love how when they began the argument that the rest of the main 6 did not just roll over from Twilight's yelling. Like they were like, the Queen was about actually to agree to help us until you just did this. It's just they did not back down. They actually tried to come back.
I love the way Pinky stood up to her on that. Yeah, Pinky really has proven herself as a good leader, honestly.
It's proven herself as like a secondary, what's the closest thing to a princess? This isn't a princess.
Commander,
assistant gesture of friendship. The gesture of friendship.
Yeah, court gesture of friendship.
The court gesture of friendship.
There you go.
I love friendship like you, Twilight. You are the princess of friendship, but you're not the only person who's great at making and responding friends. They're all good at making and responding friends.
She has a file cabinet to prove it.
She has an entire room dedicated to individuals that we can agree we would not care that much.
And here again, I just got to point out, the facial expressions were so real in this. I mean, you could see the pain. We've seen Pinky, kind of get hurt and sad and whatever before on the show, but nothing like this. I mean, the pain on her face was so real. It
guttural level. It's a guttural level of just like complete, like the way that they animated those faces during that scene. It's just like I want to hug every animator who did that.
I was just about crying openly in that. I mean, it hurt me so bad. Every time, that is one scene where it's like it's not all that often that I actually rewatch a movie or something that had a really emotional moment in it, and I after the first 1 or 2 times, it just kind of it's like water off a duck's back. It doesn't hit me again the same way a second time. So far, every single time I have watched this movie, heck, even just sometimes running that scene through my head again, I start tearing up again. It hurt that bad.
Yeah. I'm with it. If there's one thing my friends have told me about when it comes to the facial expressions that we saw when it comes to disappointment to the characters, their disappointment faces are faces that they get, but they know sooner or later they might either grow from it or get over it, or they know that their friend will come by and get them out of the slump. When I saw Pinkie Pie's face, it was as if she thought the friendship that she had with this person was broken forever. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like this is a person I didn't expect those words to ever come out of her mouth.
Yeah,
Like that
like,
was legit despair.
Yeah, it was just like I
when they
just
were
can't
all-
talk to you right now. I mean
Mhm.
that. Oh,
I can't. She couldn't even talk to her. Like
mhm.
oh, Lord.
Just
Yeah,
like I just need some time to think about
when
things. You know.
PewDiePie says she doesn't want to talk to you, the most talkative
Oh,
pony in
yeah,
the
yeah.
verse,
Oh,
you
man.
did something wrong.
You
Yeah,
done
and
screwed up.
the rest of them just walking silently away with Applejack giving the best glare of the movie. Is just oh my
Oh
god.
yes, yes.
Uh,
Anyway, if I may move this along now, you know,
Yes,
of course,
I think
then
we dwelled on this and really.
then she gets.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose the next scene was Spike goes off to comfort her, and then Twilight. And I do give credit to Twilight for this. You could tell, like, immediately after this happened, she realized she screwed up badly. I mean, she
Yeah, the moment-
immediately, but the damage was done. Is the thing.
and she's like sitting on the edge of that rock, and she's starting to cry. Oh my! It hits.
Yeah.
It feels so real. It was
Yes.
the
Yes.
real cries
Yes.
I've ever seen.
It was incredibly real, and then of course it's like horrible timing because I mean Tempest comes and captures her in the
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, hey, the princess I need. Yoink.
Yeah, the best jump scare of the movie happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so apparently those cages are magic proof too. You know, Twilight couldn't blast her way out of that one. So
Yeah.
interesting, we never
It's
saw anybody try to
enchanted.
teleport in this movie, but that probably wouldn't have worked either. So
Yeah,
But
it
just
was weird. It's like
break herself out with magic, and she didn't just said, "Oh, I'm in a cage now."
well then.
yeah,
Okay. I would have
So-
liked to have seen her try to teleport and just have the cage rattle with some magic, and then she just teleports back inside. That would have been a nice touch. To
Yeah.
it.
Like the opening to the season 3, where she tried to teleport out, but then just sucked back in.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
that
kind of
would've
what I
been
expected
perfect,
to
yeah.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's I do kind of want to go back to her friends, but that's
That's
the later
nice.
scene. So we got the showdown with Tempest and that incredible song. You know, open up your eyes.
And
And-
basically a very actually tragic backstory. Like
Yes, yes.
Starlight
And-
story that worked.
Starlight story that worked.
I do have to
I-
say here, okay, I've heard both sides of this, and I commented myself when watching this, and I'm like, okay, this is like Starlight, except so much worse or whatever, like more intense.
Yeah, more
But-
intense actually. Yeah.
Yeah, the worse was a poor choice of words there, but
Hmm.
there are a lot of similarities between Tempest, what happened to Tempest and what happened to Starlight. There are also some key differences, though. They are not the
Like-
same character.
Huge major differences.
Yeah. But I do have to point out, like I said earlier, through the whole movie is like this, Tempest isn't really that bad of a guy. Like she's not pure evil or whatever. Just she just went through some bad stuff and is misguided. And what blew me away about this song is that this isn't like an evil villain song like basically rubbing in your face like I'm so evil, I'm gonna win everything, and this is you're gonna fail and lose and blah. It's not the typical villain stuff. This is like her trying to explain to Twilight like basically she looked upon Twilight as being completely naive and foolish about like you don't understand how the world really works. Says you don't, like, if you've been through what I have been through, you would understand that when it really comes down to it, your friends will abandon you when you need them most. You have to open up your eyes and grow up to be to rise above that and become powerful. Unless you do that, you are going to fail in life. Like she's not trying to tear Twilight down and like explain her diabolical plot. She's trying to help Twilight understand her perspective.
It's a common thing. Is questioning her own ideals, questioning them, trying to challenging her ideals. It's like right now you are in this mindset that friends, oh man, they're always there for you. Nah, for me, I had an experience that can counteract that, and now I'm going to see if that shows you a different light. This is how
And of course she captured
her for life. That one.
Yeah, and of course she captured Twilight right at the moment where she was alone. It's just like, oh, the princess of friendship without her friends.
Like,
just like, see,
And even like she said later that it's like friendship failed the princess of friendships, and then Twilight says like I failed friendships. Like, good.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one way to
Yes.
know you adore your friends and you cherish them most when you put blame on yourself for being a horrible friend. Like, that's how you know you're a good friend.
So again, I give credit to Twilight. Listen, even after hearing all that stuff from Tempest, she realized that, in a way, she needed that. Twilight did need to open up her eyes a little bit. She needed to see things that she kind of had tunnel vision on some things, and she needed to see the bigger picture and realize what she had done, which I think Tempest actually helped her do. But rather than just buying into Tempest's ideology, she learned the lesson that she needed to learn and realize that, like, no, friendship is still key, but I failed friendship. It didn't fail me. So that was a huge revelation moment for Twilight right there.
A true friend has a friend in need.
A friend will be there to help them.
Thanks for getting that song stuck in my head yet again.
Yes.
Come on, gotta continue. Fine.
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I have always had this thing about Scootaloo, for example, where I've always wanted her not to be able to fly. Tempest is somewhat my story of Scootaloo in that she lost her ability to use her horn. I mean, obviously at the end, she's like, look what I can do with the lightning.
She can still use magic. It's just incredibly unstable.
It's incredibly unstable.
And that's why she hit me so hard as a great character, was because of that. Hopefully in season 8, they actually give me my darn wish, even though the entire script has been apparently leaked. Whatever. Anyway.
What?
Oh, no, we'll talk about that at the end. We'll
no problem.
Anyway. Movie to get through.
We're almost there.
We're getting there. So yeah, just to move past that incredible song, incredible backstory, and then we go back to the friends sitting on the beach, not realizing what had just happened to Twilight, and then I love that part with Applejack is just like kind of moping. Is like, you suppose it's about time we talk to Twilight. Like, says, have we had enough time where it's like we can go back and maybe try and patch things up a little bit. And then Spike comes running along. He's like, oh, she's been captured. And that was awesome. Like, immediately Rainbow Dash is like, what? We got to go save her. I'm like, wow, element of loyalty. I mean, she just destroyed your guys' friend. And like, nope, she's our friend. We got to go save her right now. Yeah. Not even a moment's hesitation.
Exactly.
We will not concede.
And then came one of the best lines in the movie where, like, the Paris came back, Capra came back, and then Spike was like, did we make friends with anybody else?
Or is that I wasn't sure how to take that line. Like, was that kind of a shot? Is just like, is that it? That's really all we have? Like, how are we going to pull this off?
It's more like that we are so good at making friends. Look at them. They're just here now.
For me, it was more like a jab at the trope of, like, everyone coming together to fight the villains. Like, okay, who else is coming?
Who else is coming? Then, like,
Yeah, to me, it was kind of like that. It's kind of like that moment in Guardians of the Galaxy, all standing here like a bunch of.
Yeah, standing in a circle.
Yeah, standing in a circle.
Anyways, I did wonder how that. Well, it's still unclear how they actually got back. I mean, it was a long way to travel. Like, what was their mode of transportation?
Yeah, I'm still kind of on the fence about just accepting that. I would have liked like something like Wendigos came out of nowhere. We rode on the back of Wendigos and just that'd be a cameo. It's like something. I would have bought that. I'm like, that's cool. All right.
It's like, where the heck were you at the beginning? Wendigo. Yeah. No, like if you do the whole Wendigo thing, it's sort of like, Lord of the Rings. Where the hell were those damn eagles the entire time? They could have just taken Sam and Frodo all the way to freaking Mordor. It would take 2 seconds.
This actually raises the question: can the parrots fly or not?
Yes, I was like,
I legitimately want to know: can they fly or not?
I'm like, okay, well, some of them make sense because they can fly, right? But we didn't actually see any of them fly, so of course it's up in the air, except them, maybe.
Up in the air. Yes. Essential puns
coming back.
But anyway, moving past that, so they get back, and then here we got Trojan Cake 2.0. It's like the Fields and the Colts, and Spike is best candle.
Yes.
The top that cake was.
Yeah. I think isn't it before that we see Tempest dragging Twilight through the town?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Where we see Songbird
Yeah.
as a songbird. I love that detail.
Yeah. And as she's singing, she's like, "Stop! Hey, that's a good song. Don't do that. Hey."
Yeah. That was kind of a little bit of an odd moment. It's just like there was a moment between Songbird and Twilight there that just seemed out of place. I mean, on Twilight's side, it's like, okay, now you have to face the people that you just failed. But like it didn't seem like Songbird would be the one to really kind of rub her face in that. Like I would have thought there would have been, like that almost would have been a better spot to have like a Starlight cameo or something.
Actually, to say the scene would have been like destroying of all the feels on, I think, everyone, no matter what episode, what's your favorite, have all the characters that they have accumulated, Cheese Sandwich, Coco Camel, all these characters like in shackles, in their cages,
Zecora,
all these characters that came to celebrate something about friendship, all captive on this day of friendship.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that would have been intense.
That would have been intense. I'm like, yeah, that's a whole missed opportunity. Now I'm really thinking about it.
Well, I think though the awkward moment between Songbird Serenade and Twilight was more just the awkwardness of the moment. Last time we saw each other, we were preparing for a party. Now you're in a cage. We're both in cages, being carted off to our respective dooms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is jumping in the movie or not, but I have noticed throughout the movie that they kind of tried to semi-make a bond or something between Twilight and Songbird. Is that just me?
I felt that when
it did feel like they were trying to do that.
It was as if like Songbird was just like this pseudo, like, I'm the person you kind of need to impress or something. I don't know.
It seemed out of place.
To make something between them.
Yeah.
That's what it
could have
felt
been
like.
a lot worse.
Yeah.
I was about to. I was going to say, like, I was really worried. I love Sia. I love her song in that movie. It's amazing.
Yeah, Rainbow is great.
Worried that she was going to be put in the spotlight a little bit too much, just because she's such like an influential star as far as like current times. I was kind of worried about that, especially in that scene. But they didn't go they didn't go too over the top with her in this movie.
No.
Anyway,
they did hold that back. Of course, all the stuff. I always wonder how many scenes got left on the cutting room floor that we never saw. I really hope we get an extended version of this, or at least the deleted scenes reel. I want to see what we missed. But
I want to see bloopers.
Yeah,
I want to see bloopers.
I did that DVD commentary.
Yeah, I guess from there we should go to
want DVD. In character commentary of the movie.
Yeah.
Commentary. I don't stop acting until the DVD commentary.
But anyway,
right,
then, of course,
back to the movie.
Yeah. So we go from there. I believe then we went from there to where they actually end up powering up the staff. Well, we finally got the first real interaction with the Storm King live and in person, and that guy he was all over the map. Like, he was goofy, quirky, but then he got really like intense and serious and
neurotic.
Can I just say, I love the fact that the Storm King has no idea what he's doing.
Yeah, he had no idea what he was doing, and I kind of like
it. Wanted to be pure evil.
When he was charging the staff, he didn't even realize he was charging the staff. He was just like, I need to prove a point. Staff in the floor. Whoa, okay, that works.
Oh, sweet.
Like he was the evil Rafiki, basically.
Yes, he was an evil Rafiki waving the staff. But I did like that line when he shoved the staff on the floor. Is like, what was that line? It says, it's cut to the punchline because this is a joke or something like that, and it's just it's like, oh, hey, that worked.
Cool, that worked.
My magic. And then when he began messing around with the sun and the moon.
Yeah, it's like Monday, Tuesday,
Wednesday, day night. That's like, Rafiki, what the heck?
Yes, that was a brilliant scene.
And like before, with the whole Twilight wanting the princesses to move the sun and the moon, it's like, now you're really going to make the animals angry.
Yeah. It's like, what the heck is going on?
And as far as not knowing what he's doing or what's going on, he had no idea what the staff was going to do before he got it fully charged, apparently.
Yeah.
No, it's just a bunch of
he had no idea. He was just winging it. He was really just winging it.
And I love that.
Yeah. Now
he is almost more of a child than Discord when it came to this stuff.
At least Discord had like controlled chaos. At least he knew what he was doing with this chaos.
Yeah,
this guy like just really flailing around, and then sweet, this is neat.
I will
like
say
a
one.
child getting a gun.
Yes,
it's like a child getting $100 in the candy store. Here, have fun.
Yeah.
Well, and I do feel the need to point out that somehow I doubt that Storm King will reform to the extent Discord did.
No, he's
maybe his head will. Maybe
that seems fine.
I know. Now we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves here, okay?
No,
Like,
thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
Okay, great.
Very nice.
One thing I have to say about the Storm King, this isn't me complaining about him. This actually isn't me complaining about him. This is me actually pointing out something I'm glad they pointed out, actually, in this movie.
Yeah.
One thing about Tyrek that people wanted to point out when he started draining the magic from people, that they wanted to make it clear that just because he drained the magic from these ponies, he did not gain the abilities of said ponies. Like, he couldn't... Tyr wasn't immediately a reality warper when he took out Discord. He didn't immediately want to control the sun or moon when he got all the magic of Equestria. However, when the Storm King got all the magic from the princesses, he could immediately control the sun and moon easily, create storms and stuff like that. So it's the difference between controlled, concentrated magic and out of nowhere destructive, all over the place magic. And I'm happy they brought that up. So because people are saying, my friend at least 2 or 3 of them said that he's basically bootleg Tyrek with gaining all the magic of Equestria and then just doing things. But at least they had some differences that want to point them out.
Yeah. One thing I wondered about, though, is like, okay, he's having fun with the sun and moon, but he's also got the magic of love and friendship at his disposal. And it's just like, what is going to happen with the magic of love? Like, is he going to start shooting people with beams and they start falling in love or something? I mean, it could have gone there.
Hey, it could have. Love him.
He could turn the people into the ponies of Equestria into devoted slaves.
I would have liked the scene where he just basically raises up the staff and then all the ponies who were like against the cages is just like turning to him and kneeling in the cages like that. That would have been a nice control.
That would have been intense.
But now it's time for me to show my epic writing skills. Using the magic of friendship that he got from Twilight, turning one of her friends on her in the midst of a battle. Probably Pinkie Pie, a person who already had a little bit of malice in her heart.
You know what? That would only have happened if he was smart.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
If he was smart, that would have happened.
The wherewithal
it all depends on personality.
Yeah. Well, and ultimately what he was wanting to use the power to create, huge storms and stuff to go with his brand. So that he wasn't really thinking high level. He had a one-track mind.
It's like, I have all the powers of gods. I want to make some storms here and there. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, okay. Can we talk about the fight scene?
So I think we go back from there to that's where we entered with the Trojan cake. Is that what you're talking about?
We didn't really talk about that scene very much. So back to that.
I just want to say that it was glorious seeing his Pinky with like this huge grin on her face walking through there, and then I don't even know how Applejack saw her from behind. He's like, Pinky, wipe that grin off your face.
Hey,
you're not fooling anybody. And then just.
And that's
if you're friends with Pinkie Pie long enough,
face.
you know when she's smiling. You know when she's just smiling.
And then Pinkie Pie suddenly got a look on her face like she just found out Sugar Cube Corner is out of sugar and flour.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh god.
Horror.
Yeah, and then so the battle ensues, and the fact that they pulled Grubber in the cake, that was a little surprising, but yeah, they pop out. It was cool. He used a flamethrower. Skystar was, like playing bowling with some of the soldiers or whatever. And
what about the cupcake splatter?
Yes, that first cupcake that got chucked by Pinky is like, I swear it's pink, but that is totally blood spray.
Yeah.
Yes, it was just like
for kids,
like slasher movies or something.
And then it's like you got the rapid fire machine gun, and then their eyes just go all psycho. I'm like,
Gomu no, cupcake got
what are you doing?
MLP Amina's side was coming out there all of a sudden.
It's like, yeah, she was tapping into her insanity side. Let's go with that.
And then, of course, we must talk about the moment we've all been waiting for.
Yes.
Flash said, "He's intense."
You want to talk about it?
It's like, the goose is like,
Hello, I'm Wilford Brimley, and I'm going to talk to you about diabetes.
Listen, Storm King soldier. It's not your fault.
It's not your fault. What? But it's not your fault. But it's not your fault.
Thank you. I know where you're going. Yeah.
It's not man, don't do this to me, man.
And then we go to the next scene. It cuts over, and she's just sitting there. The guy's bawling his eyes out, and it's just like, that's okay. Just let it all out. And then they're like, Fluttershy is like, oops, sorry, gotta go.
Sometimes violence is the answer. Come on.
the guy looks like he was either like waving her goodbye. I was like, no, please stay.
Either way, I think it's like,
come back, please.
You're the only one who listens to me.
Oh man, just
yeah.
I'm waiting for him to pop up in season 8 during one of the.
I'm just imagining one of these like
parties.
daytime, like Dr. Phil like talk shows with Fluttershy, as
Fluttershy.
I actually like turned at that scene. I turned to one of my friends, like, are they gonna take this up next week?
Yeah. That's a possibility. After the Storm King's defeat, they're probably all out of a job now and not knowing what to do. So
now you're putting the image of Fluttershy being Dr. Phil in my brain with that accent.
Sorry.
So what's the problem? I can't even try to do it.
See, I've got a completely different image in my head. It's Fluttershy. You get a pet, and you get a pet.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
What is that from?
Oprah.
Oprah
Winfrey.
Oh, okay,
you get a car,
okay.
and you get a car, and you get a car.
Fluttershy. I'm okay with
Oh,
that.
okay.
Yeah, Oprah Fluttershy.
Yeah. But in it, that face on her though. Said, do you want to talk about it? I mean, just the face on her is just like, oh, that has got to be. I think that even outdoes the like Puss in Boots like face from back in Fluttershy leans in, where she was just sweet talking the contractors and whatever. Like this outdid even that. Yeah. I mean, just
and I have to say,
you can't out adorable Fluttershy.
I didn't bring this up. I forgot to bring it up when we were talking about right before the fight. But when Twilight was being wheeled through the town, what killed me inside was seeing the CMC in a cage.
Oh, we never talked about that. Yeah,
I almost flew out of my chair and just like, if I get my hands on whoever,
just Apple Bloom looking so sad, it just tears me up inside.
You don't put them in the cage. You're unleashing my.
What was strange about that is
I like how that image alone activates the parent in everyone.
Yeah. I just want to protect them. Dang it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was interesting. It almost looked like they could have just squeezed between the bars of the cage, though.
This is cartoon physics.
Those cages are magical. They keep her out.
Yeah. Magical barrier.
Magic. How does that work?
That works. Anyway, but yeah, so okay. Oh yeah, and then the flamethrower. But we mentioned that earlier. So
we really talked about the flamethrower.
Awesome moment for
Spike.
The
ultimate badass Spike. Yeah.
And of course, Tempest comes out to see all this. Is like, what? How? And just like, hey, it's the magic of friendship and ponies and powers.
There's a power.
Storm King is just. It's like, I don't like cute things. Like, things aren't supposed to be cute.
That's his thing. That was his core.
I'm so over the cute pony thing.
Yeah, that was his.
Oh, he had a lot of great lines. Yeah,
Hmm?
there was also.
They were portraying in that scene. Just I wonder.
Yeah. Well, actually, we were talking about the Storm King was basically like the anti-brony in throughout this movie, and just like, I'm so over the cute pony thing. Yeah.
It's not cool, guys. They're ponies.
Like,
I never liked it. That's not my thing. It's not my style.
Stop liking things I don't like.
Exactly. But no, so then we get the scene where he's like, okay, time to end this, and starts, conjuring up the storm. And he has this line is like something about, it's like, and now, everybody will bow before my ba boom, baby. Like, wait, did he just like reference Jafar and Cusco in the same line?
Ultimate
I mean,
power.
seriously, like he's finally like doing the diabolical bad guy line, and then just there's segues into this ba 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 boom baby. I'm like, the only other person who's done that is Cusco.
And another great narcissistic ruler. So
Exactly.
it works.
Yeah.
There was like a half dozen Disney movies referenced in this movie. It was glorious.
Yeah,
Not one
and
just
then
like
we
a
got
Disney
the scene
film.
between him and Tempest. Where
Yeah.
Tempest like, but you promised my horns. Like,
I mean,
get with the program.
it was-
I used you.
Yeah,
It was pretty obvious he wasn't gonna actually, but due to his personality, I knew for a solid fact he wouldn't just be like, "Oh, here's your horn back." Beep. Nope. He's gonna turn on him.
Yeah,
It's
I
a villain.
doubt he ever even had the power to restore
Yeah.
a horn. He was just playing her the whole time.
Villain 101. Can't Villain 101. Don't actually comply to the thing that you say you're gonna do for.
And I'd be willing to bet he never even looked into whether or not it could be done.
Yeah, just like how he didn't even know he was gaining the power and what he was doing with it. Like he actually knew he could regenerate things from other ponies. Like no,
He was too busy modeling his toys and goodies that he's selling to various different people by force.
Yeah, coming up with catchphrases and
Selling by
all that kind
force.
of stuff.
and I said, buy our toys.
He's not the one who has the catchphrases. That's Iron Will.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Iron Will. How I missed that best.
Yeah. Just to step back real quick, one thing I forgot to mention I loved in that confrontation between Storm King and Tempest. Well, when they first got together, then Grubber is just like do your bidding or whatever, and then he's just runs out the door. He's gone like, peace out, I'm gone.
Yeah, this is
too intense for me. I'm out of here.
This is a scene even I can't comic relief. I'm going later, guys. Later, fam. Later.
I am convinced that Grubber in some way has some sort of close relationship to Storm King, like little brother or something, and that's how he got to be the schmuck following Tempest around.
It is interesting how he's with him. Yeah.
I almost wondered if he was. I still haven't read the prequel comics and books or whatever, but I'm wondering if there's actually a thing between Grubber and Tempest, where you mentioned earlier how he's kind of taking the edge off the things that she's doing, where always hanging around her. Why does she tolerate him? I just wonder if is there some history between the two? Did he sort of befriend her a little bit when she was down and out, and then through him was able to get into the ranks of the Storm King army and work her way up or something? I don't know, but it's plausible.
She's never annoyed whenever he says something that does something.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because correct me if I'm wrong. There wasn't a single moment where Grubber does something and Tempest is like, "Shut up, Grubber," or like she seems fed up with what he's doing. She groans a little bit, like she knows this is him, but she doesn't say, "If you keep doing this, you're gonna be out of my side."
There was only one moment where she sort of did something like that. It was early in the movie, after they the call with the Storm King terminated, and then she was just he made some comment, and then she kind of got in his face and got super intense and "Go prepare the ship," and then he ran off, and then she her eyes went a little weird there for a second. She just kind of just kind of had to settle back down from her little rage session
Tempest,
there or something.
I loved that moment so early for Tempest, just the way that she had to pull herself back together. Okay, serious time.
I now remember that. Yeah,
I really loved that moment. I really did.
Yeah.
It makes sense because it's the plan was come down here, capture the princesses, be done with it, get my horn back. Cool. That didn't work out. Turns out they're gone. They're running away. I talked to him. He's being kind of annoying. This guy's being annoying. You know what? Put my hook down.
He was talking about her horn this looks like a little chipped tooth and whatever and stuff. It kind of pushed a button there, and she kind of lashed out a little bit. I don't think it was directly aimed at him. I don't think she was necessarily annoyed with him. It's just he touched kind of on a sore spot, and she got a little bit defensive. That's
what I mean. It's just there wasn't really a scene where she got fed up with him specifically being annoying or anything like that. So that shows that there is a connection that she tolerates him in a way that is okay, this is what he does. I'm okay with it.
All right, shall we go and talk about the friendship part of the movie?
The friendship part of the movie.
Oh, well, then, final showdown. Well, okay, actually, the next part we were going to get to is the Twilight and saving Tempest, basically. And because Tempest gets betrayed by the Storm King, and then they duke it out.
She had a choice of running toward. She had a choice.
then Twilight had a choice to make, and it's like either get the staff or go save her. And of course, she saved her.
What she was going to do. Like,
yeah, I mean, if she went for the staff, it would have been more of a shock if she went for the staff so she could like grab her from the sky. That would have been like a double fake out. Because she did kind of do that later on, didn't she?
I did think it was interesting that she wasn't using her magic, but there again, her magic had likely all been drained, so she couldn't do it. So
yeah, got that.
So is that? But I have to say, of all the faces on, I mean, I love the facial expressions for Tempest, especially in this movie. They were just so different from what we're used to. But that moment, that scene where Twilight befriended her, and her whole face just kind of softened and like brightened up and whatever, and it's just like, oh, like that's the real Tempest right there. We just
that smile,
that smile
right there. Yeah.
Yes, and it's like, oh, that was so perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the whole Pinky and Twilight reconciliation happened a little bit before that, before everything started to go down, where it's like, Pinky and Twilight didn't have to say anything.
They're just starting to like, even when friends, it's like the end of the episode moment, and then Rainbow Dash like, make up later to talk later. This isn't over yet.
That's the kind of meta humor I love from this show. I mean, come on, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Save the lesson for later. We got the villain over here.
Yeah.
Well, at the same time, I could see Pinkie Pie being like, "Hey, Twilight, you were a little stressed out. I get it."
Yeah.
So it's no big deal. She didn't mean what she said, and we all get that. We all have those moments in our lives where we get emotional and say things that we don't necessarily mean in arguments or confrontations.
It's the head of the moment.
Exactly.
Rhyme of passion.
It was in the heat of the moment.
It's kind of what happens, yeah. I would go on and say a majority of people, and I'm not gonna like put you guys on the spot. We've done that at some point, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's something we didn't mean to,
yeah.
because
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's a human thing to do, and in their case, pony mortal thing to do.
So
mortal.
The one thing that confused me when they got to like more or less the final showdown, trying to retrieve the staff, who's going to get there first.
Yeah.
It is a little strange that it's like they all, like tied themselves together and then we're trying to fly up. It's like, wouldn't it have been easier for Twilight to get there without them? But the only thing I can think of is they were basically like preventing her from getting sucked into the storm or something.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can probably think of. We need leverage. Need to make sure no one gets sucked in. It might have been a lot stronger than we think it is, or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I must admit, I for some reason I really liked. I felt the intensity of the scene when like they were getting closer to the staff and the Storm King was just crawling up all the rubble. Like, oh, this is actually kind of intense.
Yeah, I was on the edge of my seat for that. I'm just like, what's gonna happen?
I do want to bring a little thing up. Now, Twilight was drained of her magic, correct? That's
presumably
obvious.
Yes.
Now, her cutie mark was still there. But as we know from Tirek, when she drained her magic and anyone's magic, their cutie mark disappears because I'm going to guess the magic within their bodies isn't there to sustain the cutie mark.
They lost flight ability too.
Yeah, so they lost the ability to fly. Now I want to bring up the question: is there a difference between regular pony magic and princess magic? Because if her princess magic was drained from her, that would make sense to her cutie mark to still stay because she already has her basic magic skills, but she couldn't use them because she was still drained from the overall. Drain.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about that one. Just
inconsistency.
Yeah, I think it's just inconsistency.
Cutie marks, magics connecting to the personalities. That's just a jumbled mess.
Yeah, another thing to point out is the little subtle detail when the magic first got sucked out of them all. Like her eyes did kind of turn that grayish color, like when Tyr did, but then they restored right away.
And you see how the freaking runes like grew out of them and lines and stuff going out to the horn and like that must have been extremely painful.
Oh yeah, they were crying on the inside.
Yeah, so but that is the point. I said there was the power of the four princesses. So was it not completely a total magic drain or whatever? I guess that's one of those things I'm not going to really on that too much because I feel like it's just it's a little bit of an inconsistency issue with the Tyrek battle, but it's not really ultimately that important of a thing.
It just brings up the theory that there's a difference between princess magic and regular magic. Like that sort of thing. Once you become a princess, you are now have a higher grade of magic you can tap into. I don't know if you guys watch Dragon Ball, like how Goku has his regular ki, but he also has God ki he can tap into, which gives him the variant level of strength. This ki could go, but he still has this. Right?
You just gave me an interesting thought path off that. It's like, okay, if there is a thing like if he got Twilight's princess power, then it would have been interesting if she suddenly lost her wings.
Yeah.
Oh.
That would have been interesting.
It's like, oh my, that would have broke me. It's like,
I'm just imagining Larson just sitting in like an audience chair while the movie's going on at the premiere, just like, how could you do that?
I hate who you are today. You're not going to take this away from me.
Yeah.
But anyway, just to move this forward, we already talked about, you know, the scene where she came back with the staff and whatever. So, you know, following that, she had the what?
Nothing.
Yeah, she had the moment where she had, you know, the group hug with everyone when they realized she wasn't dead and stuff. And I loved that look on her face, like she, you know, came down and hugged him, and she's like, you know, just like my friends are back.
Yeah,
you know,
it's over now. We're done.
It's like it's over and friendship is restored, and yeah, it was a touching moment. Of course, then the Storm King pops back up. I knew he wasn't gone at that point, and then we had that awesome moment where Tempest sees him, starts charging at them, and we saw, you know, Applejack and Rainbow Dash like immediately jump in front of him, take up like a defensive stance, you know, like they thought she was attacking them. But then she jumps over them and goes after the Storm King, and it just like I was in utter shock at what just happened there. I mean, she basically like, committed self-sacrifice.
Yeah, and I love how that like she got hit by like the crystal that turned her into a statue, but she managed to like get close enough to the Storm King that it also affected him.
Exactly.
At first I thought she was going to turn herself into a statue and then crush him or something.
Yeah.
Kate, like, oh, she's turning him into a statue as well. They're falling.
Caprion, yeah.
Oh snap! He just broke.
Caprion, you said in one of the moments that you were kind of happy that they went that dark when they went to a scene. I was slightly disappointed that they didn't go darker in this scene, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, they could have gone a lot darker with like Twilight appearing to be dead or something like that.
No. More like Tempest jumps in front of the way. They both turn into the statues, and they both shatter. Like the self-sacrifice is 100%. She took out the Storm King along with herself, but they saved her with the staff, which again makes sense. You know, kid show.
Yeah.
But they going darker like that. That's why I was kind of like disappointed, but I get it. That's what.
Yeah. One thing I do appreciate about that though, you could tell when they unsealed Tempest from that crystal. She was like in complete shock. Is like, wait, I'm still alive. Like she did not expect to come out of that alive. So that at least proves the point of she was willing to go that far, even though they didn't take it that far. She was willing to.
Yeah, they hinted at the possibility of it, which is great within itself because kids movie.
Yeah.
Again,
I get it. If it wasn't just hindered for the whole kid thing, God. The one thing that's wrong with this show.
We already have slavery in the movie. What about his self-sacrifice to the self-extreme? I mean,
it's not that bad.
Yeah. But
and cults.
So anyway, then it's like, then they all look around like, well, now what? You know, so now we fix everything. Okay, magic fix everything.
Magic.
And there's that one scene where the camera just goes back and like Derpy appears. And
yes.
And movie, obviously.
And I would like to point out, how did when Derpy got unfrozen, she was standing up on a pedestal. She did not start out on a pedestal. She was in the middle of that courtyard.
They took her, and it was like, it was either an example or just like, oh, this is neat. Let's just do this.
Like, I love the symbolism of Derpy got put on a pedestal. I love the symbolism.
Yes. Where she belongs. Okay. Minor fanboyism of my favorite background pony aside. Yeah, it was funny.
Yes, everything's fixed, and hey, concert. You know, I finally get to have the show we've all been waiting for. Oh, sorry, I just have to throw one other thing out there. I forgot to mention this earlier. So my understanding was that the entire course of events from the main 6 getting blasted away and having to, take off to parts unknown and then come back again and save the day. I thought there's a time period mentioned in somewhere in the movie. It was like either like 2 or 3 days. I think it was 3 days.
Yeah.
Did the sun and moon move at all for those 3 days then?
Very good question.
I'm just wondering. There was nobody there to move them, so that was one very long day.
That's exactly why I was saying, oh man, this day will never end until we save the princesses. So it's like, so today it's still the day of that friendship celebration turned into a day where everyone's captured. So I was like, there's symbolism. After you said that, like, that's hugely inconsistent.
Hey, at least
they're gonna completely have to rewrite the calendar.
At least they like caught up with the days when the Storm King was just missing the sun and moon.
Yeah, days went by, obviously, very fast.
Yeah. Oh, so anyway, it's just an interesting question, but yeah. So concert and everything, and again, animation wise, I did notice a few little hiccups here and there where like some of the lip sync stuff wasn't quite driving. But I have to say, the work that they did on Songbird's Serenade, like the close-up when she started singing that, the lip movements were absolutely perfect.
Flawless, yeah.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. They really put a lot of work into that scene. And even the dancers and stuff around it, with just the lighting effects were off the scale.
I have a joke for that, but it's not that funny. They saved up budget on her eyes, so they just put it all to her mouth.
That's actually a really good joke. That's actually really good.
I love her persona, so I'm happy that we were able to kind of put her in there.
Can I go back for a second real quick, just in case there's something I wanted to bring up that I'm not sure if someone else did and I missed it, but when the staff got stuck in the window and the ponies were going for it and the Storm King was going for it, Twilight and her friends formed a chain working together, all friends working together. On the other side, the Storm King all alone. Mm-hmm. On one side, friends working together beat one person all alone. I'm wondering if there's some symbolism behind that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Definitely symbolism. Friendship is power, after all. But yeah, it does actually bring up, Tempest was, person who was working for him. If he was, a good bad guy who actually abided by the rules of, hey, if I do this, I do this. And he did help Tempest out. Tempest would have helped him out in that scenario and probably would have gotten the staff because Tempest is pretty beastly. She can jump. She has fantastic leaping ability, as we can see.
She has a taser on her forehead.
She has a taser on her forehead.
At the very least, she could have blasted the ponies while the Storm King went for the staff.
Yeah, so she would have helped in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Well, for that matter, she could have blasted the Storm King too if she was on their side, but she was probably still just
kind of thinking
in shock of
everything. Yeah. At least she could have done something while the Storm King was just going nighttime, daytime, nighttime, daytime.
Oh man.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, that's
Tempest's real name. Can we talk about that?
I was gonna say, that awesome concert moment. It's like, oh yeah, see what I can.
Awesome concert moment. Yeah.
Actually, before I get to that, just that moment in the middle of the song between her and Twilight, she's like almost kind of ducking out, but then Twilight goes after her, and they have that moment there. Just again, the faces on there, you could see that she was kind of. The walls were breaking down, and she's kind of starting to melt a little bit, and
letting her guard down.
Letting her guard down and like open herself up to the first friend she's had since forever, since she was a little foal and her friends abandoned her. I mean, was.
I have the movie up right here, and I have this face of just like she's looking out in the distance and with these eyes of like, man, this is over, isn't it? Whoa.
Yeah, and she says like my horn, and the way she says that at that moment, it's like, what about my horn? And,
but then Twilight said, what did she say? It says somebody, your horn is pretty powerful, just like the pony it belongs to. I'm like, I mean, that's about as much impact as when Celestia told Twilight, you have all the magic you need. I mean, it's basically the same thing. So
it's like reverberating the words from the beginning to the end.
Yeah. And then Tempest was like, remember when I said that I wanted to show Christopher what I got? firework.
Yeah, fireworks.
Yep.
That was awesome. And yeah, Tempest or Pink is like, nice touch, Tempest. And it's like, that's not actually my real name. Like, wait, what?
I kind of
At that moment, I
It's
wanted
like,
her name
wow.
to be, at that moment, I wanted her name to be Firecracker or just something like that.
Firecracker. Firecracker.
No, but it's like Fizzy Pop, Fizzle Pop Berry Twist. I'm like,
That is the
What?
like most out of nowhere name you could probably ever think
and
of.
the reaction from Pinky was priceless.
Yeah, it's just I understand why she changed her name to Tempest. Like,
Yeah.
That's not a name that strikes fear into the hearts of your foes. I can tell you that much.
but
about the Almighty.
seriously. But okay, so she's got fireworks capabilities clearly, so it makes sense. I want to see a party thrown by. I want to see a party thrown in conjunction with Pinky, Cheese Sandwich, Tempest or Fizzle Pop, whatever we're calling her now, and maybe Party Favor would just get all the party ponies together and just go nuts.
That would be
Okay,
good.
after skimming through the movie a little bit on my end, I do want to say one like minor, super small nitpick. I wanted to see her cutie mark. I want to see what that was.
Interesting thing about that, they never finished it.
They never finished it.
The creators of the movie said they said the reason that they never showed her cutie mark is because they tossed around a few different ideas, but by the time the movie finished, they still had not collectively decided on what they wanted the cutie mark to be. So they just left the armor on her, so we never saw it.
Well, with like the name of Fizzy Pop Berry Twist or something, it's very hard to think of a cutie mark in that regard. So
I get an image of one of those like party horns where you pulled it out like.
yeah,
Well,
that would be like so.
I was thinking of something along the lines of just like a little cluster of fruit or like berries surrounded by like soda bubbles or something.
Mhm.
But
I was thinking
that was
something
just a minor thing. So
like an old timey soda shop glass with frosted with a straw next to it or something.
yeah. Well, yes, a soda glass like a milkshake soda glass with sparklers coming out of it.
Speaking of,
Just because I don't know.
that fireworks show was amazing though. How it linked across the sky. It's like that was good.
Oh yeah, boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
My comment watching this was so she will be doing helping Trixie with her shows.
I think she's a little out of Trixie's league.
I'm sorry. What
More
Trixie?
like
And
the
I
other
want to
way
know.
around.
I'm sorry.
It's actually funny because Trixie, like twice in this movie, once at the beginning and once again at the end, I think, was seen launching fireworks. And then after, there should have been a scene like after Tempest did that, there should have been just a quick scene of like Trixie popping up in the background. Oh, come on!
I would have really liked to just be by Starlight, see her, just like she turns around and say, "Show off," and just turn back around. That's about it. That would have been like that's all. The Trixie's voice actor gets paid.
Or better yet, Thorax could be there, look at Trixie and say third best.
Destroyed.
That would have been. Don't even do.
Oh, what's a magic jello for that burn? Oh,
jeez, Christ.
Well, anyway, that pretty much brings us to the end of the movie. Now I've been talking quite a while.
The entire movie. Final thoughts.
I think it was good overall. I mean, it still has good rewatch value for me. I'll definitely be rewatching it a number of times. I'm sure it's not a perfect movie, but I think it more than accomplished what they were trying to accomplish with it.
Yeah.
So
questions that my friends have given me when we came out of that movie. How does this stack up to both the season finales and season openers that were basically their own pseudo movies and the Equestria Girls movies? In what scaling do you put this movie on? If you need time for that,
I would say that with what they did in this in this movie, it didn't feel just like an extended episode. I actually think it felt like a movie. Like, how many here see Doctor Who?
Yeah.
I've watched.
How many have seen The Day of the Doctor, the movie?
Yes.
that felt
get you,
for
man.
me. That felt really like an extended episode. This movie did not, in my opinion.
So yeah, it's one of the main things. It's like this movie needed to make sure to show this would not have been a two-parter. More stuff needed to happen to show.
Yeah, it was
besides
bigger than
animation.
that. It did feel a little bit, again, your opinions will vary on this. To me, it did feel like kind of each step that they went through, like, with Klugtown and then the parrots and the hippogriffs. It felt like each section of this movie kind of was almost like a miniature FIM episode, and they kind of strung a bunch of those together. But, and for that reason, it felt a little bit rushed. But at the same time, they've tied all of them together very well at the end. So it didn't really feel disjointed at all. It, it worked. It was just a little fast. So
the thing is, from what I remember when I looked at the time of the movie, I think it was like almost 90 minutes on the dot. So it feels to me like maybe some stuff got cut out to try and hit it under the time meter just perfectly.
There was lots that got cut out. And I will say this too, and just from that perspective, I'm glad that it felt rushed rather than feeling like it was full of filler. Because the fact that cramps it, because there was even some stuff in some of the promo clips they released before the movie. There were certain scenes in those that never actually made it to the final production of the movie. So it's clear they left stuff out, but I'm glad that they at least tried to give us a bigger, grander story and then had to cut it back for time restraints rather than just, giving us a weak story and filling it up with fluff. So,
and as for the story itself, I kind of okay, this is maybe going to sound weird, but I kind of appreciate that they stuck to a very standard kind of story and just aimed on to entertain and give a good experience. They didn't try to break any boundaries or set any new rules. They just let us make a good movie. And for some reason, I'm happy that they did that. I'm happy they weren't trying to be the best of the best, but just to deliver a good time. I'm happy they did that.
Yeah, I had a good example of exactly what you mean, of them deviating from that and trying to be big and grand, but I can't really say it now for a reason, so I'm just going to come up with a different on the spot. Let's say, there was a villain who mind-controlled Discord. Now Discord is now warping the world around him due to this outside force, and it's up to the ponies to go out and then find this mysterious crystal of the Alibaba and meet Magical Friendship Goat. Magical Friendship Goat will then allow them to harness the true power of friendship and kill the bad guy. I don't know.
Wait.
They really...
Crystal of the Alibaba.
I want whatever you're drinking, sir. I appreciate it.
It's called cans of Coke. They go off $4.99 at your local 7-Eleven.
I will say this.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Yeah.
Hashtag not sponsored. Yeah. Go Applegate. Go for it.
Yeah. I kind of see what you're saying and understand it, but I'm sure some will criticize it because of the fact that it was kind of a known, safe type of storyline and stuff. It's not truly all that original. But I think the thing that they were trying to do, they were trying to give us a bigger, better version of the world that we already know. So I mean, there's a lot of the stuff in here is done for fans, but I mean, also it was it's meant to be a good entertainment piece for people not really familiar with the show, and I think it can be quite entertaining for somebody who's not familiar with the show. I think they accomplished that, but then of course they did stuff for us as well. But the one thing that I think they did do in terms of groundbreaking things, instead of being groundbreaking with the overall story concept, they were groundbreaking at least in terms of the characters of like we talked about earlier with the betrayal scene essentially between Twilight and the others. They took the type of friendship scenarios and problems and amp that up to a whole new level to make it that much more real and that much closer to a real world thing for us. That they took these characters further than they ever have in the show. I think that's where they really went over the top for this.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie made us 5 grown-up men talk about it for 2.5 hours. It has something.
It accomplished something, right?
Yeah. And we should also talk about the elephant in the room, that it was released early, and the release was a H.265 format, mostly leaked by somebody. I have no idea, but apparently now we're up to 2 terabytes of information that's been acquired by some Russian hacker, including all of these scripts for season 8. So that'll just be a dandy good time trying to avoid that during the hiatus. I look forward to waiting.
It's like everyone who's like, who takes these ponies that seriously? Apparently, some Russian hacker who wants the entire script. So. Talk to that guy. He clearly cares.
I'm just really scared that I'm wondering what this is going to do for the production, because I mean, when there's been leaks before, you know, I've heard kind of through the grapevine or whatever that there's been pauses in production while they dealt with that. Now that this is a much bigger and more serious leak than anything they've had before, I'm a little bit scared at this point that they may just pull the plug entirely on season 8. I mean, I honestly hope they don't, but I'm a little scared of what might come of this.
I don't know.
Hope.
I mean, they did leak basically all the financial information for this movie and people's private phone numbers and email addresses, which thankfully at this point should have been changed. So yeah, I don't know. It's a mess, and you know, I paid for my ticket, and I'm gonna buy it on Blu-ray. But obviously, I have a nice copy on my desktop that I can watch whenever. But you know, still,
I feel bad that I'm the only one in this group here who is forced to use like the leaked movie to be able to enjoy it and not go into the movie theater because Danish stuff fucking sucks. But
Danish,
I feel kind of guilty that I'm sitting here seeing I've watched the movie, but only the leaked version. I'm gonna buy the movie online when it comes out. No problem about that. But I just feel like I feel cheated because I didn't watch it in theaters.
Localization sucks.
Yeah. I actually went and bought 2 back-to-back showings of mine on opening night. I'm actually kind of wishing
I saw that picture where it was like, I really.
And I kind of wish I hadn't done. I wish I had gone like on a Friday night which is actually the premiere day officially, because there probably would have been more people in there to enjoy watching with. But I did it on Thursday because I wanted to hit it opening night as soon as I could. And on the first, they actually had 3 showings that night. The earliest one I couldn't make because I was still at work. But then that one most probably had more families and stuff in it. The second one had like maybe about 20 people total in the theater, not very many. And it is a mix of some older people, some families with little kids and whatever. Then when I went back in for the second and last showing of that, the second one for me, the last one of the night, that started at 10 p.m. and I thought I was going to have the whole place to myself. And like right at the last minute, like 2 other guys from the local area walked in that were bronies, and I'd never met him before or anything. So we got to basically have like a private showing for the 3 of us. And it's actually kind of fun. I got to chat through it and whatever. So
Yep.
Yeah, I think there are certain scenes in here where I certainly wouldn't mind sitting through a theater again that's like packed, because I just want to hear others' reactions to some of these scenes and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I just said that watching the movie, there were multiple times where I saw the scenes. I was just thinking, imagine watching this on the big screen for the first time. Just
it was a spectacle like that.
The rainbow was very pretty.
The whole 3D route.
Sonic rainbow scene, like goddamn, that would have looked beautiful.
Can you imagine watching a movie like this in an IMAX theater? That rainbow would probably make your eyes bleed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
IMAX in 3D.
In 3D. It is not a dumb concept. I swear.
I swear it's not a waste of your time. It's a real thing. Please trust us.
So,
anyway, I think we pretty much talked this thing to death. Anyone watching this later has enjoyed it with us, but any final thoughts on anything?
I don't know if you guys do numeric number reviews, but off the top of your head, movie out of 10, go.
It's like, okay, thoughts are it's a good movie. Not perfect, of course, but it's a very good movie.
Because everyone can say good.
Animation is beautiful. Story was good with how they dealt it. Characters were very well created, very well developed, in my opinion. I would give it like 7.5 out of 10.
7.5. Whoa, man!
Too much water.
That's a nice critical scale. That's a nice critical scale. Anyone else?
I'd probably go with like 8.5, about a 9. Like I know that IGN decided to review this movie, and the guy I know the guy who reviewed it said it was absolutely horrible, while knowing absolutely nothing about the plot. And of course, you can't spell ignorance without IGN.
Let's just put a guy who knows nothing about the actual material into the theater and see if you like it. Man, obviously this is a good idea.
Yeah, but no, I really like the movie. It obviously the haters are gonna hate, but yeah, I loved it. I mean, we've been waiting for this for so long, so I probably would have liked it either way, but they really did a good job, in my opinion. And I actually had like not crying, but tears at the end, because I was like, I just witnessed something amazing. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was.
This happened.
It was definitely great.
Yeah, I just witnessed my favorite TV show come to life on the big screen. Like, this is a big thing.
Yeah. For me, I would have to give it. I'll say this: thinking about the movie from the perspective of being a fan of the show and then seeing the movie, within that context. Yes. A biased opinion, of course, I would give this movie somewhere along the lines of like an 8, 8.5, probably more like an 8.5 out of 10. Knowing there are some flaws with it. If I tried to look at this movie just from, purely the context of an outside observer going in and wanting to watch the latest animated film that's supposedly really good, I would have to give it a lower score, maybe more like a 7-ish or so, like 6 or 7, just because the pacing issues and some of these other things, from the average casual observer, the movie has some flaws that way that will drag it down some. Obviously, being a fan of the show, you're going to think more highly of it just because you and love the characters already. So
it's like ever since 2012, when I joined this lovely ride that never ends, it's like, the first Equestria Girls movies kind of scared me, even though I kind of loved them afterwards. But this was something a lot different and something we've been waiting for a very long time. So
it's not Equestria Girls, and I'm happy.
I know. Yeah.
Come on, Rainbow Rocks is still great.
It is. It's like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, only with
Yeah. Ponies.
Yeah.
Ponies turning.
Yeah, it was good.
Next watch. What do you think?
Yeah.
I gave it about 8.25 as well. I got it in that general range. As a fan of the show, I kind of put it at a 9 just because of the fanboy nature of it. Mm-hmm. Putting with a little bit of fan service, with a lot of the show's typical nods to the fandom and that kind of stuff, which we all appreciate, kind of making fun of itself in some ways, which is the kind of the big stuff that I think a lot of the bronies in the community like. Mm-hmm. So to that extent, as a fan's perspective, I give it about a 9, which is probably just under what I give Rainbow Rocks. I think that was still the pinnacle of the MLP movie of anything.
I'm kind of with you on that one.
But this is pretty close to it, I think, as far as musical quality, as far as presentation, everything put together. Like as it's been said quite a bit, the only real issue I have was that it was a little rushed in places. Felt like they were trying to get it a little bit under a certain running time marker, so that's the only big issue with it.
I demand it.
And also some the fact that some characters didn't get enough screen time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not biased or anything. I'm just saying.
It's not biased.
That's fine.
I want the entire movie to be a Starlight movie.
Hey, you know what? I would have a problem with that. But,
I would have a problem with that deeply. Yes, I would have had a huge problem with that. I'm happy to just reduce to a background pony. That's it. All right.
She was probably just locked in one of those magic reflecting cages somewhere, and
Yeah.
If Starlight wasn't in one of those magic reflecting stages, she was just a magic laser.
She was dominant. She's just like, okay, time me to flex. I'm about to just, okay, I won the day.
All right, time to get let's go. Let's do this.
All right.
All right.
Well, I think that about wraps it up here. So for anyone who is still watching all this craziness, hope you've enjoyed all this rambling with us, and hope you enjoyed the movie as well. And stay tuned for another one of these at some point in the future. I'm guessing we'll be doing one for season finale, maybe.
Yeah, well, the only person that isn't in finale, is Johnny. So once Johnny is done,
Don't hide.
Once Johnny is done, then we'll be able to watch, the whole. We'll be able to talk about the finale. That'll be fun. But yeah, I think we should do that. It's up to you guys. No, take your time. No pressure. Take your time.
Yeah, today I posted up my reaction saying that I'm reacting to everything else, so I'm fine.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, wrap this up. Thanks again, everyone, and we'll catch you again soon with more stuff.
We will see you guys next time.
Hello.